Okay. Sorry about that. I was preparing things in the background. Also, my dad was on the phone. So, for some reason that means that I just couldn't. There was just a lot going on. But anyways, hello. Hi. Hi. Hi everybody. Hi. How are you doing, my darlings? My loves. My loves, what's up? How are you? I got confused with stream, but like, cause the title screen was static. The title screen. Oh yeah. Congrats, dearie. Thank you. For a moment, I got confused. Okay, and I don't know. Title screen being static. Like, how so? Doing good working on an animation? Is that what you're up to, Rimu? What type of animation? And thank you for the congratulations, Senti. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was really excited about it. I mean, I knew that it was coming. I just didn't. I don't know. This has been a marvelous year for me in terms of milestones. I've just, I've not expected the 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 uh, the timeline of the growth I've been experiencing just everywhere in general. You know, I focused on solely YouTube when I first started out. I didn't do any live streaming. I wasn't on Twitch. I had an account, but it was empty. I wasn't doing anything with it, and I was only making YouTube videos, and I was doing them in the form of streams where I would essentially pretend that I was live streaming in my recordings, and I would just do normal stuff like gaming or yeah, just gaming. I focused on just gaming back then, even though I eventually knew that I of course wanted to diversify into reading literature and stuff on stream, and also karaoke. But then I started doing karaoke shortly after. So when I say static, I mean like there was no motion in it, and I couldn't tell if stream had frozen. Oh yeah, it is static. I don't have a moving one yet, I'm afraid. I made it myself, so that's why. I mean, I could have made it so that it was not static, but I used Photopea. This was before I had Canva. So on Canva, I could make it a moving or like an animated screen, but I used a background, a free background by Sozai Iris, an artist. I found it on Booth, I believe, and I got the background, and I really liked it because it aligned with my brand colors, so to speak, for Lucifera, which is velvet black, so really deep dark midnight black, velvet black, silver white, and golden honey, or just gold. So yeah, and then I just used it and made my stuff with it. Made my I don't know, my BRB starting soon and ending soon screens with it. So yeah. Yeah, so it is static. I will get, I plan on getting new ones for debut next year, so I guess there's something to look forward to in terms of that. But yeah, hi everybody. I went online and I found one of those random get to know me questions, those that website stuff. And I just was like, yeah, this seems good enough for what it is I've got planned for this stream. This is fine. This seems good enough. And I'm all cozied up. It's been a long day. I'm a little bit tired, but I was excited to do this because I rested up yesterday well enough for myself, at least. I'm not sure, but I'm okay enough, I guess, to be online and yap, 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 yap until I can't yap anymore. And I figured I hadn't done any Q&A type content at all. And I haven't done any just chatting streams that was solely just chatting. You know what I'm saying? I always usually mix it up with gaming or something else. I even said that even with this one, I will like read later on because I felt like it would be a lovely way to end the evening, or just a nice, a nice reading session with chat. It's evening for you. Who wouldn't be tired at this point, even a little? See, that's the thing. I'm usually not tired at this point because my day starts like really later, usually later. I've been sleeping well these past couple of days, and by sleeping well, I mean like I slept when normal people are supposed to sleep. So I sleep like I slept at like I fell asleep yesterday at I think 10 or 11 p.m., which is amazing for me. I haven't done that in such a long time, and that's because I was just so tired. I did so much yesterday. I had so many chores, and I did so many runs to do. Like I had so many errands to run. So by the time I go back home and took a shower and made dinner, I was exhausted. I didn't even make dinner. Miu made dinner. So true, you're such a night owl. Yeah, exactly. So normally I'm a night owl, but this past 2 days I've slept very well. So I was like, oh, I don't know, should I still stream at this time? I just set it at this time, like on what's that word again? Like when you do something like blah, 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 like out of habit, it's I've been doing that. This is around the time I stream, so I just was like, I just put it at this time out of habit. But by the time it was like 3 p.m., I was like, oh my god, I should take a nap. I'm kind of exhausted. So I was like, oh shit, should I have made this early? But then if I had made it early, all my, I guess, regulars wouldn't have been able to make it. And then I was like, oh, I don't know if I should do 2 streams today. And I didn't know if I had it in me. And I wasn't sure if it was going to be possible. But I did it anyways because I just felt like the celebration had to happen because I'm excited and I didn't expect this milestone to happen so quickly. Like I said, it's been a really awesome year for milestones. I'm just so happy and so grateful to all of you guys who made it possible, who've been supporting me just from day one. Thank you so much. But yeah, essentially, at least do a little something. Hey, let's just do it, because at first it was the blue sky milestone, reaching 1K, which was, I don't know, that one was crazy because I have barely been on blue sky 2 months. I believe I'm just, this is the 3rd month of me have been on blue sky. At one point I was like, are these bots? I don't, but I subscribe to like so many block lists and mute lists for bots and stuff. So I don't know. And I rigorously, well, as much as I possibly can, rigorously check those who follow me to make sure they're not, unsavory characters. So I was just like, I don't know, this is crazy. But then that happened, and then this happened, reaching affiliate on Twitch. It's so crazy. A rule of thumb I follow is if you have to ask yourself if you want to stream, you probably don't or shouldn't. Honestly, I thought that usually would have been my way to go, but sometimes if I feel poorly, like, it depends, right? If it's a mental type of exhaustion, then sometimes streaming makes me feel better. But if it's a physical exhaustion, I don't know, man. Then it's a battle because I'm like, my bed is right there. My bed is right there, and they look so cozy and warm and nice. Streaming. Should I do it? You deserve it more and more. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know. I've been feeling. I don't know. This is definitely a good sign that this streaming thing, this VTubing thing, is, definitely up my alley. I knew that I enjoyed it, but there's a difference between enjoying stuff and then being able to possibly make a career out of it and make a living off of it, which is unfortunately my second biggest concern, if not my biggest concern, considering the circumstances. But yeah, I'm just grateful. Thank you so much to everyone. And heart to you, Senti. Big ups, big heart. Now that reminds me, I've got to work on my own emotes and redeems and shit, because it didn't matter before because I was an affiliate, and now I have to actually buckle up and do that shit. Okay, that's no problem though. I'll just deal with it like I've dealt with everything else. But I guess we should move to our reading corner, because that's where we'll be able to read out the questions and all of that and so on and so forth. So let's get going. Oh god, excited. Me too. It's so cozy in here. I'm actually wearing one of my favorite blankets in IRL in my room because it's a little cold. I forgot my window was open, so I just closed it, so it's a bit chilly in here. So I am wrapped up in a nice little blanket. I've got my water bottle right next to me. I was gonna prepare some tea beforehand, but I was already running late because I was on a call with my dad, and despite my hints, he wasn't necessarily getting the fact that I kind of needed to go, and and I didn't want to be like, Dad, I gotta go, My online peeps are waiting for me, so I just let it run, and I just kept on going, yeah, and stuff in the background. So yeah. Here we are. So I didn't really know how I was gonna pull this off. I figured that I could just say, oh, I guess people could just, instead of going number by number, we could just choose the ones that we're actually interested in. So y'all could just type in chat the number of the one you want me to deal with first or answer first, as we are trying to get to know each other. And by know each other, I mean we just ask these generic ass questions, and then we fall into tangents and stuff. Wow, sentient, so quickly. You didn't even waste time. What is your biggest, best green flag? Oof. This is a good question. This is a good question. But I think I need to preface this by saying that I'm on the I'm on the asexual spectrum, right? And it took me a while to figure that out because I didn't know it was a thing for a very long time. I just figured that that the rest of my mates were kind of dumb and I was the only smart one. I know, very, 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 very narcissistic type thoughts, very, very superiority complex. It's giving, I know, but I didn't know. I was just young then, and everybody was losing their heads over crushes and boys and girls and the in-betweens, and I was just like, do your homework, you idiot. You're gonna fail this semester. Okay, so but eventually when I started thinking about it, it didn't stop me from thinking about relationships in that sense, because that's just what you do, think about relationships. Like you don't really have a choice. Everything around you is focused on relationships. All the music, all the movies, all the books, everything is all about romance, right? So I did think about it a lot. And I think at first my answer would have been intelligence. I couldn't stand, I can't stand, I can't stand like genuinely, like, what do you call it? There's a word for it. There's a particular term to refer to those who are, oh, willful ignorance. I can't stand it. I would say stupidity, but stupidity in and of itself isn't necessarily the problem. It's willful ignorance. I've come to realize I have a problem with. So when I was younger, my answer would have been intelligence. But now that I'm older, intelligence isn't enough. You've also got to be someone who is, I think, very, very empathetic. Like, no matter where you're from, no matter who you are, no matter, your experiences in life, you have the ability to empathize and truly, truly care and give a shit about people, about their problems, about situations and crises and so on and so forth. And I guess you kind of have to be a certain political leaning, left leaning specifically. I think that's my biggest green flag. A combination of all these three things: to be intelligent, to be empathetic, and to, I don't know, to actively want to enact positive change in the world in the ways that really matters. So yeah, slay, real as fuck. I know, Senti. I know. That's personally what it is for me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just someone who's never really put a lot of emphasis on romantic relationships, even when I was younger. And then when I eventually, because I'd never been in love in my life until I hit my 20s, and then I fell in love once. Never again. Not that it was like a bad thing, because we couldn't really do anything about it because we were long distance, and from the very beginning I knew that I don't want to be in a long distance relationship, and neither did they. So I just was like, we just, from like the very beginning, we're like, we're not doing anything about it. We've acknowledged that the feelings are there, there's the potential for it to evolve into something, but nothing happened. So after I stopped feeling that way about them, I was just like, actually, I'm good. I like the way I've been beforehand. I don't want to experience this again. Actually, thank you very much, but no thanks. Empathy is usually a conscious effort I try to make every day because I tend to lean more into logic due to how often I see people being too emotional to get stuff done. But then what exactly does that mean, right? Because, and while very good for you, Rimu, I admire that because not many people can even say that. But I believe like a balance between logical and emotional, it's just how it's supposed to be for every human being. One or the other, too much leading into too much of one or the other, it's just never going to end up in, it's never really going to end up well, in my opinion. Ooh, love. Sensi, y'all serious. Yikes. I prefer more emotional people. Yeah, I guess you could say so, because I feel like they're more safe, so to speak. They have less to hide. Someone who wears their heart on their sleeve, someone who is just naturally, I don't know, kinda. There's something about it that's strong. Intelligence is hot, of course. It's very attractive on someone. But, I mean, we know exactly what people who are too intelligent with absolutely no empathy look like. And it's not a pretty picture. So, frankly speaking, it's just not something that I would wish upon myself or anybody else. Most of my bad experiences with others have been with people who value logic over emotion. Right? It's this tendency to believe that one is weak and the other is strong. And already to me that's like a problem, to put in this sort of binary system over something that is innate in every single human being, no matter who they are. Even what was previously referred to as psychopaths, I believe that they've changed the name to be a bit more accurate nowadays. Psychopaths and sociopaths. It's not that they lack empathy. It's simply that they have a very reduced, you could say, level of it. So at the end of the day, yes, everybody has both logic and empathy innately. Like, it is wired into human beings to be able to relate to other human beings, or to want to be among other human beings, or to be a part of a community, you know, to not be all on your lonesome. And I've seen there's always a problem with people who value one over the other, but most especially those who value logic over empathy, because if you do not look upon living creatures, especially human beings like yourself, with kindness or with empathy, then there's something extremely, extremely sad about something like that. It's just it's just heartbreaking. Because then you tend to go make decisions that would sort of not put in you, like, that wouldn't consider anybody else, or that wouldn't consider the lives of everybody else, or the impacts that whatever decisions you make would have on the lives of anybody else. It's a different type of selfishness, one that's extremely cold and unfeeling. For me, it means, while logically I know snuffing something out will end the current problem, being a little more emotionally intelligent can help make sure that problem doesn't pop up again. Yeah, among other things, you know, it's very versatile, and it's not just, it has very many uses and, you know, pros and cons, of course. But you know how a lot of sayings, when you hear them as a kid, you're like, what the fuck does that even mean? What are you talking about? Shut up. You know, one of such sayings is, better to have better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. I hated that saying growing up. I was like, shut up. No, it isn't. It's so much better to just not have felt it, because if you never know what it's like to love, then you literally never know what you're missing, right? The problem begins when you learn what love is and then lose it, and now you're fucked up forever, right? But for example, that comes in like a very, very limited sense, to just think that it's about a certain type of love, first of all, because when you hear that quote, people often believe that it's immediately referring to romantic love. I i think I, as a person, will not be here or who I am today without familial love. For example, the love of my sister and my mother literally kept me going, kept me alive long enough. And not just that, but contributed to the person who I am today to such an extent that I cannot imagine who I'd be without them. And I really, really, really like myself. And I really, really like the person that I've become, and the person that I will keep evolving into. So, and like, without the influence of that sort of love on my life, I wouldn't exist. And I think I'm pretty cool. So maybe it's a little bit, you know, self-obsessed of me, but I don't really care. It doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, I feel like I have a lot to offer, and I might not have had that much to offer if I did not have that kind of love. Would I be broken up about it if something were to happen to them? Absolutely. But I thinking about a life devoid of any of those experiences is so fucking sad, man. Like, it's genuinely so sad. I don't even want to imagine it. So, yeah. I like to vent and rant a lot, and I usually just want someone to listen instead of telling me what I need to do, you know? Time and place. Period. That's so true. There's just so much that can be, like, healed from just a listening ear. Because at the end of the day, a lot of human beings just need somewhere to, like, release their frustrations into. You know, there's so many problems, there's so many fights, there's so many confrontations, there's so many, you know, just overall bad interactions that would not have happened if somebody had had even one person listen. to them and to listen to their problems. Just one. Just one. You know? To truly feel, there's a reason why in anime there's a lot of, for example, let's look at Naruto. People like to really make fun of, lightly of course, they like to lightly tease Naruto's talk no jutsu, where he's just like has a huge fight with that week's antagonist, and then after he's beaten them to a bloody pulp, or they've beaten him to a bloody pulp, he hears them out. Essentially, they talk about their trauma and the reason they're this hateful creature, or the reason that they've embarked upon whatever killing spree that they've embarked upon. And Naruto just goes, bro, I get it. I was also super lonely as a kid. This also happened to me. But I chose this, I chose that. I found this, I found that. People were there for me. You know? You know? So, and it always works. It always works. They're always like, damn, Naruto, you know, either they die like healed or they change for the better. And people used to be like, oh, that's so crazy. That's not how it works. But that is how it works. That is how it works. What is therapy? It's literally you going to someone every week. You speak to them about your problems. And then they just help you deconstruct the trauma and give you ways on how to deal with it more effectively. And to build up habits that are far more healthy and build up coping mechanisms that are healthy so that you can live your life with more fulfillment and joy from that point on. And so that that trauma doesn't hold you back. Literally talking to people, being around people, around others like yourself, a community that you feel like you're a part of something. That's all it takes. There's a reason why cults are so invasive and so powerful. There's a reason why religions are so long lasting and have such impact beyond centuries. Because all it takes is a group of people and a sense of belonging. And a human being can subsist on that for God knows how long. Alright, let me keep reading chat. Yeah, I'm a huge problem solver because I tend to view the majority of life as one giant puzzle or RPG to navigate. I've seen that in a lot of neurodivergent folk. For example, Milu is autistic, and we didn't know that for the longest of times. So the way they viewed the world was interesting, to say the least. Especially because we grew up in a place where mental health isn't even considered as a real thing. Do you know what I'm saying? It's genuinely not considered a real thing in Nigeria. Like, you would say something like depression. Like, if you refer to anything mental, they assume that you just run mad and get naked in the street and just, you know, start talking to yourself and eating trash. That's their definition of mental decline. There's no separations in it. There's no conversations around it. It might have changed now, because I honestly haven't been back there for quite some time. And I do know that our current generation, Gen Z, and some millennials as well, have began to forcibly bring up that conversations, like where they find themselves. But before that point in time, we didn't know what autism or ADHD or OCD or anything, or schizophrenia or BPD, just mental illnesses weren't in our radar. But the way they viewed the world was so very unique and was so very much different from what was the norm, essentially. And because of that, it was very, very difficult to exist in Nigeria. It was very difficult to exist in school. It was difficult to exist in church, because church was just a part of daily life. Even if you, no matter what you thought, no matter what you wanted, church was just there, you know? And it wasn't until we discovered what autism and ADHD was that we started to make sense of who we even were and how our brains even worked, right? And it began to really change things for us. Definitely made things easier, that's for sure, especially in terms of social interaction. But I think that a little bit of empathy, like I mentioned in the very beginning, would have still been enough to help, because even if you don't understand somebody, even if you don't get the way they work or the way they think, just being like, oh, I don't get it, but um, I'm here to help in any way that I can to make it easier, to make it better, or to just listen, you know? And that's why Milo and I are best friends. Like, yeah, we're sisters, but genuinely, I believe without them, without we were with each other through some tough times. That's all I'm gonna say. That is so true. OMG, heart, factual. Oh shit, yeah. Was that about the mental health stuff, Remo? But yeah, it's kind of really bad. Hasn't changed much, honestly. Yeah, Senti. I wouldn't really know. I haven't, to be honest. I don't really keep in touch with a lot of people except for my family members back home in NG, because that wasn't even where I last lived. Right, I didn't do high school there. I did part of high school there, but well, did I actually? God, I don't even remember. My brain hurts. I don't keep in touch with a lot of people from back home. But yeah, from what I've seen and from what I've heard, it's still the same in terms of mental health. People don't talk about it. People don't even believe it's real. They think it's an import from the West. I didn't think that was a neurodivergent thing. Like, I knew for years that I'm autistic, but didn't think that was another common POV. Oh yeah, I certainly think that it is. Because let's first of all preface this by saying neurodivergence is a spectrum. I'm sure we all know that, which means it's different for everybody. Everybody has a different, experience of it, depending. But there's some what do you call it? There's some common denominators, right? One of which I've seen is the way they view and perceive the world, the way we view and perceive the world. I said they because I was referring to, autism. I don't have autism, but Neil is autistic. Well, you can't have autism. You can just be autistic. Yeah, that's correct. Anyways, but I have ADHD and I suspect something else as well, but I'm too scared to go to the doctors to confirm. But I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But honestly, I believe that it's definitely something that's like might be a neurodivergent thing in terms of the way, you know we understand the world. And I've noticed that a lot of neurodivergent people see it in a lot more patternistic recognition type way, which does have a lot to do with like puzzles and problem solving and logical, contraptions and stuff like that. You know, glad you have each other. Thank you, Santi. Sisters by chance, friends by choice. I'm lucky enough to have tons of friends that take mental health very seriously and are so much like me in so many ways. That is such a blessing. That is such a fucking blessing. I feel like if I had had such friends back home, it could have saved me so much grief. It could have saved me so much grief. But because everybody has been taught from a very young age to just repress it or not talk about it, or to invalidate it at every turn, it's almost impossible to find people who believe it, or who believe it even exists, talk less of people who take it seriously enough to care about you and go out of their way to learn about stuff. Oh, that would have saved us so much grief, honestly speaking, because I remember I forgot my train of thought, so it's fine. The West derogatory. Yeah, that was implied, Senti. That was implied. Better to have a map for how your brain works than having the wrong map and wondering why you aren't reaching the same destination as everyone else. And that is true. That is so fucking true. That's on fucking period. Like, oh my goodness. It truly was like discovering a map of how my brain works. I'm not even kidding, because it changed everything. Once I discovered, and it wasn't even me who discovered that I had ADHD. we were just we had just started to settle in from the repercussions of discovering that Milu was autistic, right? And we were like, oh my god, this explains so much. Remember that time when? Remember this when? Remember that time when? You know? And we'd just be recounting situations where we're like, oh my god, that's what was going on, you know, because we didn't know. We had no idea. I'm so grateful that we found out. But I didn't even know anything about ADHD. I didn't know anything about any other mental illnesses. I didn't know that there were other, you know, I didn't know shit. It was just one day Milu came to me and was like, I think you might have ADHD. And I was like, what's that? I knew what it was back then, but like on only on a very limited scale, right? And I essentially was like, no, I don't, right? Because I was really of that type of mentality that I didn't want to take from the community. How I don't know how I was thinking. I felt the same way when I was contending with my, I guess, my sexual uh identity, my sexual orientation, and my sexual identity and all of that. I was just like, oh, I don't want to claim that I'm this when I'm not even sure. And that's I feel like that's what do you call it? That's reducing, or how did I even put it? That's I'm watering down those who are actually going through it. I don't want to claim that I'm mentally ill because I don't think. And I remember saying the stupidest thing. I remember saying, I'm not mentally ill. If I was mentally ill, would I be like this? Which is such a wild thing to say if you really know me. Because it's like, yes! Yes! Or something. But it's not mental illness. It was just a different way that my brain was wired. And when I found out, and they just told me, okay, I've been looking at some of these symptoms and fit the bill on a lot of them. So just look into it, okay? So I was like, oh, sure. And a couple of months later, I just decided out of a whim to start looking into the symptoms. I started watching all these ADHD TikToks, you know, where they'd be like, oh, that you have ADHD if you know, and all that stuff. And I was relating to so much shit that they were saying. And then I finally was like, okay, fine. And then I took tests, and you know, these online ADHD tests, and I took 7 of them, and 6 came back positive, essentially, so to speak. And I was like, oh shit. And after that, my life just started to change for the better. Oh shit, I've got to catch up on chat. That West comment took me out. I mean, King Tay. I mean, for all of us from the global south, and even some of us that from the global north, we know what we mean when we go the West. You know what I'm saying? That one moment when it all clicks and everything suddenly starts making sense. You want to sit down and just go, wow. That was genuinely how it was. Both times. Both when we discovered Mindy was autistic and when we discovered that I had ADHD. It was just like, holy shit. That's why I always forget the fucking this. That's why I always go into a room to do one task and I end up doing literally every other task but the one task that I went there for. That's why I always do this. Like so many of my habits, so many of the things that I was beating myself up for. Like, why do I do this? Why can't I do that? Why is this so difficult for me? All of that just made so much sense after I discovered it. I was like, god damn. I'm finished, caught. Yeah, it just, I don't know. It was very freeing. It was very overwhelming, and then after that, it was just such a relief because I was like, oh, it's not me, so to speak. It's not because I'm lazy or spacey or spaz or too forward or impulsive, or well, technically I'm some of these things, but I was better able to manage them. Like I was like, people take meds so they can actually go about their lives, their daily lives, in a way that doesn't impair them. And this whole time I have been fucking killing myself thinking that I was, well, killing myself in my head, not for real. Papa Twitch, I beg. But essentially just hating on myself for all the wrong reasons, thinking that I was the problem, and I wasn't. I wasn't. And I'm doing so much better now. I'm in a much better place. I started taking medication and it just became easier. It did. And I'm just grateful, honestly speaking. I'm grateful. Or in my case, I need a routine to function well, right? Routine just, let's not even talk about routine because like a strict regimen helps me sometimes, and then sometimes it ruins everything. It just, I don't know if you guys also have that thing whereby if you have, for example, if you're up early in the day at around 10 a.m., but you have a thing at like 6 p.m. that's like an appointment that's like important. So let's say with the government or with a doctor or something, you kind of like are sort of useless for the entire time up until you have that appointment because it's all you can think about and you keep fretting about it and you're always anxious about it. Apparently that's a neurodivergent thing, and I didn't know that. And after I knew that, I was like, oh my god, because I'm learning new things about ADHD every day, and every new thing I learn, I'm like, that's why that happened. That's why I am the way that I am. Literally all the time. I know, right? Though I kind of took the opposite of being time blind. Time blindness. Yeah, that's what it's called. Because at a young age, people around me will always say 5 minutes or 15 minutes and not stick to it, and it pissed me off so much that I'm half aware of the clock. That's like Milu too. That's like Milu too. And that's the opposite because I'm time blind in the opposite way. In that I well, God, I have a very weird relationship to time, and I don't know like, how if I can even explain it well. But I learned how to literally tell time without looking at the clock because of that situation. And because I was surrounded by people who did that, I eventually picked up that habit. But Milu never picked up that habit. If Milu says 5 minutes, Milu means 5 minutes, right? But weirdly enough, Milu is always late, and I'm always early, right? Especially, it's just so strange, the contradictions. I don't get them at all. Milu's always late, and I'm always early. But despite that fact, um, Milu can't. Milu doesn't is never aware of time, so to speak, right? They'll just be like, "Oh," and they're barely aware of the time. Like they're just I don't know how to describe it. Oh fuck, I don't know how to describe it. They'll just be like, "Oh, is it afternoon? Is it evening?" That's kind of especially during winter time when by 4 p.m. the sun sets. They're just absolutely out of it. But I'll be able to tell. Oh, it's probably around 4 p.m. and you will check the time and it'll be like 4:03. You know what I'm saying? So I will be right on the mark or very very close to it. They'll be like, "What time is it?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I estimate that it's probably around 8:30." And you will check the time and it will be 8:25 or 8:35 or 8:40 and I'll be on the mark. I'll be on the money. Despite the fact that I hate routine. Oh my god, I don't get it. I had an outing for like 2 p.m. one day and I was up since 9 just playing my idle animation until the time came. Same. I had a thing. Oh god, it's even worse if I have a really early appointment and the night before I'll be too scared to miss it, so I wouldn't fall asleep. I'll be too anxious to sleep. If I'll sleep in starts. So I'll sleep, wake up in 2 hours, wake up after 2 hours, sleep again, wake up after 2 hours, sleep again. So I'll have really disturbed sleep or I just simply would not sleep. It's happened so many times for really important appointments that I didn't want to miss, and I would just not sleep. So the next day I'd be groggy as fuck. I'd be slow. I'd be tired, irritable, just overall not good. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. One of my friends has the exact same story. Yeah, I would just sit on my bed, just chilling. Like, I wouldn't even be on my phone. I would just be like, sat there, just looking. And I'd be like, there's other things to do around the house. I probably should make like lunch, or I should do the laundry, or sweep the floors, or some shit like that. And my mind wouldn't even go there. It's so ridiculous and crazy. I'm so honestly so sometimes so tired of it. One of my friends has this exact same story. I'm pretty sure we're all living the same lives, right? Because so many of us can relate to so many of these stories. Like, it's so aggravating when you know you could have been doing something else. I know, right? You really be beating up on yourself like, hello? Like, I should go scrub the bathroom walls? I've been ignoring that. My mirrors are dirty. Hello, I should dust my table. Hello, mop my floors. Hello, the laundry. Just go spread the laundry. Go take it out. Go bring it in. Can you do that? And of course, executive dysfunction. You will be telling yourself in your brain, screaming at yourself, go do this. And your body will not listen to you. Like, hello? Or what about the time where I would be like, okay, I had to, the way I had to trick myself, or when I'll finally sit down to read, and apparently this is something that I forgot the name of it, but it's some sort of thing where the brain, the ADHD brain, if it's not getting enough, I don't know if it's serotonin or oxytocin. Anyway, it's a feel good hormone, right? If it's not getting, no, it's dopamine. It's dopamine, not oxytocin or serotonin. If it's not getting dopamine from the activity that it's doing, it will forcibly make you sleepy. Isn't that insane? Isn't that insane? That it will forcibly make you sleepy. Have you noticed that you sit down to do something you consider boring, like homework or reading a really, really, really annoying book, right? And as soon as you start reading it, you start feeling sleepy. Has that happened to you before? That's a thing. That's a fucking thing. Your brain is telling you that, oh, I am not getting dopamine from this activity. I don't want to do it. And if you do not stop doing it, it will put you to sleep, my dude. That's fucking crazy. That's so fucking annoying to me. Like, dude, the amount of times that shit has happened to me. Okay, I gotta catch up on chat. In my case, I have my watch beep once every hour so that even when I can't see, I usually know what time it is. Ooh, that's really smart. I have so many timers. At one point, I had so many timers and reminders that it overwhelmed me, and I deleted everything in a feat of pique because one day it just got too much because of overstimulation. There's also that overstimulation. God, that shit pissed me off when I discovered it was a thing. Sometimes I would just realize, for example, I would switch off my PC, or I'll put it to sleep, and suddenly my whole body would just relax like I was a marionette with my strings cut. And I'll be like, oh, I was overstimulated. Or I'll switch off the lights in my room and my body would be like, oh, I was overstimulated. Or I would be like, because I really like brown noise. Brown noise really scratches the itch in my brain. There's also that too. I concentrate better when there's something going on in the background. And usually I thought that I just needed to play music, but then I eventually realized that actually wasn't the case. And so I discovered brown noise, that it was best for those who had ADHD, and I would just put it in the background while I worked, and I would immediately lock in like I take an Adderall, bro. What? Anyways, I was talking about something else and I forgot. But I eventually one day I had so many reminders and they were just all beeping and beeping and beeping because that particular day I had a lot planned and it overwhelmed me so badly that I shut down and deleted every single reminder that I had. And then I had to start from scratch after that. Because of overstimulation. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, like I have so much stuff to do but literally cannot do it. I know. I beg, free me. You just want to shake yourself like, oh my god, fucking work. You know? I'll get that fear of starting anything big because I'll know I can't let myself get deep into the work because I know I have to be somewhere. Same. Like I wouldn't be able to do anything that I really would get engrossed in because it might take up all my attention and I would just abandon whatever thing entirely by mistake. Like I would just forget to start dressing up for the appointment, or forget to start preparing, or forget to start leaving, and all of that shit. at most I'll just read or watch YouTube videos until it's time to go. Same. I'll just scroll on social media uselessly until like 30 minutes or 1 hour before I need to go, and then you know, I start essentially preparing to leave and stuff. But the best part of discovering when you're autistic on some level, when you finally meet someone that relates to everything you do, yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Every time I find someone else who has ADHD, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not all in my head, because there's always this little fear sometimes that, you know, not that it's not real, but that people won't believe it's real, and that's the worst part. The worst part, especially because with something executive dysfunction, it's always just misdiagnosed as laziness. And I remember reading something somewhere that if it was laziness, you'd be having fun. And I was like, mind blown, because true. I would be having fun if I was just slacking off, but I'm not slacking off. I want to do this. I just can't find myself doing it right now for some stupid ass reason that I don't know. Anyways, dopamine. I think it's dopamine. Yeah, it was dopamine. What? That's why I've been falling asleep in class for years. Of what I know. I forgot the name of the thing, but there was an article that actually came out about it. A scientific article. And I remember I don't know, I heard I could find it. I found it on Tumblr, because I'm on Tumblr, and it changed my life. I'm looking for it through my messages, because I sent it to Milu when I found it, and I was like, did you know this? Did you know about this? Of course I didn't fucking know about it, but it was such a mind fuck. I was like, my brain will literally shut itself down if it's not having enough fun. Are you serious? And of course there's hyperfixations, which is the opposite of that, whereby you're having so much fun that you forget to drink water, you forget to go to pee, you forget to eat, you forget that you're tired. Your body just ignores all its signals in favor of locking into this one thing, and by the time you get out of it, people used to refer to it as like the flow state or the zone, but for the neurodivergence, it's so different, because it can be very not good for you if you do that, and you just find yourself that you snap out of it, and you've been sitting at the same spot for 6 to 7 hours. That's happened to me so many times. 6 to 7 hours you've just been sat there doing whatever this thing is, and you've not been able to leave, and you didn't even notice that the time was going that fast, and you didn't notice. And suddenly, let's say if someone has been cooking, you just smell the food, and that's when you realize, oh, I'm hungry. And then you smack your mouth together, and that's when you realize, oh, I'm thirsty. And then your bladder starts hurting, and that's when you realize, oh, I haven't peed in 7 hours. It's so maddening. It's so fucking crazy to me. Okay, I'm looking for it, because I really want to find out the word so that you guys can at least go Google it yourselves. This phenomenon where your brain just forces you to sleep if you're not like doing something that it finds fun or that it finds engaging. Oh gosh, where is it? Oh my god, I've sent Milu so much shit on Tumblr. Fuck. At this rate, I'm never gonna find it within the stream, to be honest. Ew, AI. Ew. Anyways, let's continue reading chat. No wonder. I know. But at least now we know, huh? Any sort of study I don't care about. I'm knocked out, bruh. Same. Out cold. Like I've been drugged. I'm not even joking. It's genuinely like I've been drugged. I just immediately like crash out. I can't find it. But that makes sense, considering it's been such a long time and there's so many posts here about so many different things. It's buried underneath all the shit that I sent them, and I can't find it. I'm still looking. But I don't know where it is. Well, I'm sure we'll find it sometime, but right now I can't. It's probably been a year since I saw that article, so I'm literally digging through a year's worth of texts right now with Milu, which is crazy. Okay, you know what? I can keep looking some other time. Maybe if I find it, I'll post it on Blue Sky. I found it. I found it. I found it. I found it. So let me find. Let me just. Uh huh. Oh no, that's something else. It's just something else that I found about. Yeah, it's just something else I found about ADHD. It's not the same thing. Yeah, as a result, ADHD brains send out distress messages demanding more glucose, and the owners of those brains suddenly crave sugary foods and carbohydrates, which can be quickly converted into glucose. Glucose increases dopamine and serotonin, so brains experience pleasure and greater calm. Many people with ADHD chide themselves for indulging in pasta and cookies when their brains are actually demanding those foods instead of salads. It is no wonder that those with ADHD struggle with diet and nutrition. When they self medicate with food, their brains enjoy a surge of dopamine, an increase in glucose based energy that improves attention, and a serotonin based calming of restlessness. Particularly for the impulsive ADHD brain, this perfect storm of rewards increases the likelihood of overeating. So that's another reason if we're prone to overeating and you have ADHD, it might be related. There might be a correlation there. In college, I had this one art history class I always passed out in because it was so dry, and even chugged a 5 hour energy drink before class and still fell asleep. That was me before this accounting class I took. And unfortunately, the guy, oh, was it accounting? No, it was economics. No, the accountings guys, he was good. He was an old man who was so, he was so jolly, and he tried so hard for us. I couldn't hate him. But the economics professor, oh my god. He had this really fast paced, droning voice, mm, as well as a really thick accent. I just, you couldn't make sense of what he was saying. And then he spoke too fast. And then, so even if you asked him to elaborate or go back, it didn't change the fact that you still didn't get what he was saying because he simply spoke too fast and his accent was extremely heavy, and he tended to go on a lot of tangents. So it was almost impossible to understand him at all. And eventually it just became a class to sleep in for some reason. And yeah, it just it was just unfortunate. Like, and it wasn't just me. So many people would go to that class and we just be falling asleep where we were because we couldn't help it. Like, crazy. I usually have to do it in bits, like a little bit each day, and then reward myself with game dev. Oh, that's smart. I do that to myself sometimes as well. Just that sometimes I get too distracted, and then I end up doing the thing that's supposed to be the reward a lot more than I'm doing the thing that I'm actually supposed to be doing. So if I'm supposed to be doing like some sort of work, and I say, "Oh, I'll work for an hour," and then I'll reward myself with 15 to 20 minutes of this fun thing, right? Let's say I'll work for an hour, and then when I'm rewarding myself with the 15 to 20 minutes, the 15 to 20 minutes will turn into another hour or maybe 3 hours. So I'll work for an hour and then reward myself for 3 hours because I got too distracted and was having too much fun doing the thing that gave me the dopamine. Which, yeah, I guess is understandable. Oh, white noise like rain helps so much. Yeah, I tried white noise first, but it just, I don't know why, it just was not as effective for me as brown noise. Brown noise is different, especially with the really low megahertz. Ooh, that shit got me through college. That shit got me through college, bro. Oh, by the way, oh wait. And then though I recently found out that white noise helps because it takes away my brain's need to fill in the lack of noise. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why brown noise helps as well, I think. Brown noise. Sentient is taking notes. I hope it helps. I hope it helps. I understand that everybody's experiences of these things are different, but maybe there's some things we can share that could help each other because these were tips I also got from other neurodivergent folks online, and it literally saved myself so much grief because of it. Hell, even one of my old professors remembers me specifically because I always fell asleep in his class for 3 years straight. Remove. 3 years straight is crazy. Lamau, literally me. You guys. totally understandable though. I mean, it's not even our fault. We're just discovering that it's literally not even our fault. What are we supposed to do? Aish, shit's just happened apparently. Shit just happens. Okay, I'm gonna keep looking for that post because I find it really important to share it, right? But in the meantime, let's keep looking for let's keep reading chat. OMFG, I love these moments of discovery that answer some questions I had about my brain for years. I know, me too. I will say though, one of the few things I enjoy about being autistic is my childlike curiosity and creativity. I'm so glad that so many more of us are not just discovering things about ourselves and answering questions we've had about ourselves for years, but also loving these things that we find out. Because the one thing about ADHD is the pattern recognition. I also love it. I also fucking love it. Because sometimes I'll say something and then either my friends or whoever it is I'm talking to at the time will be like, I've never thought about it like that before. And it always gives me such an ego boost. It always feels so good. I'm always like, yeah. Yeah. Debbie Ryan ear tuck. Always just feeling myself. At least there's something good coming out of what I've always thought was what I always thought was the thing that was wrong with me. And I'm now discovering in so many ways that it's actually a strength in I just needed to know, number one, what it was, and number two, how to use it, you know? So yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I discovered what the fuck I had going on in my brain, and now I know exactly how, or better yet, how better to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just grateful because knowing it's truly it helps. Knowing helps, and that's all I'm going to say for now. But no, let's keep going. Um, that explains my massive sweet tooth. Yeah, yeah, it's your brain using itself to self-medicate. Apparently, there's so many correlations with it that it's genuinely so fucking crazy. Okay, I think I've scrolled back way too far because now we're getting to the point where we're talking about dumb memes and supernatural and Misha Collins having to come out as straight and stuff. Okay, so I'll just keep scrolling down and then we'll go from there. Baka. Oh, that was you, Milu. I'm sorry, I didn't see you. I didn't see your text, darling. I didn't see. I love jolly profs like that. They have no idea how much of a huge skill that helps long term. Yeah, he really tried his best. My accounting professor. He was a literally the only way I could describe it was a jolly old man. The thing it was like he didn't speak. Um, well, he did speak English. He just had like a very thick accent, and he'd he'd try to make these gains, and he'd be like, "I know accounting is a very boring subject, so I have come up with an activity." And he'd make us dance and stuff, or he would dance. It was very fun. Too bad I dropped the class as soon as I could though because I hated accounting. Like he tried his best, but it just was not for me. As soon as I had the choice, I was just like, nope, I'm not doing this any longer. Thank you. I do not like math. My brain doesn't like math, and I don't like math, so we're just not gonna do math. And that's it. That's how it was. And we never went back to math ever again. But see you, Milu. Thank you for dropping by. My pattern recognition is a bit spotty. Like I don't always remember faces until I've made a strong enough personal connection with someone. I remember my long term, short term memory is something to be, I don't know, something to be behold, something to be beheld, something to be studied, because I don't even know how it works. Because I remember with perfect clarity some shit that happened in my childhood, like passages in books I read that I liked, or passages in like textbooks that I liked, because I was really huge fan of science when I was a girl, until until I went to high school, and then science became great but also a source of extreme stress and anxiety, because if I didn't pass my science classes, then It was going to ruin my life. But before that time, I would remember these moments of perfect clarity. But if you ask me what I wore yesterday or what I ate for dinner early this week, like day before yesterday, for example, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I have no idea. I don't remember. Frankly speaking, I have no fucking idea. So I don't know. I don't get it. I guess my pattern recognition is also a bit spotty. And in terms of faces, I would remember someone's like face, and I will remember. Sometimes I'll either remember their face or I'll remember their name. Right? I would literally meet someone once, and I'll be able to say, "Hey, this person," right? And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, you remembered me," and I'll be like, "That's literally all I remembered about you. I'm sorry." Or I would remember their face, and then that's how it would be. I don't know. It just depends. Okay. Don't even get me started on small talk. That crap never fails to piss me off. It depends. To me, there's such a thing as tasteful small talk, and then there's such a thing as boring small talk, like unpalatable small talk. Because if you come and you're like, "Oh, how have you been? How are you?" That one pisses me off because it's like you don't care. You're just saying that to be polite, and to me, it's impolite to ask me how I am when you don't give a shit how I am, or when you don't give a shit about the answer, right? But if you come to me and your small talk is within context, I guess, or it's within, for example, let's say we're not friends and we're taking this class together in college, and you come up to me and you're like, "Oh, hey, sorry, were you here last week?" And I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I was." And you'd be like, "Oh, how did you find the professor?" I'll be like, "Oh, he was pretty cool." But I can get immediately in that moment that, oh, they're probably asking because they don't know and they would like, some information so that they can know how to proceed accordingly. And they came to you, or they came to me specifically because they probably thought I was the best person to answer that. But if they came up to me and they were like, "Oh, how are you? Where have you been? How's your sister?" It's like, you don't care. I know you don't care. You barely just get to what it is you came here for. Don't come and start asking me about the weather and shit. I only get scary good at math when it's for something I need in the moment, then I just end up forgetting it soon after it's over. Period. That's literally how I am as well. Same. I remember I memorized the fucking quadratic formula. Do I still remember it? For high school, of course. Is it C equals plus minus B squared? Nah, I don't remember that shit. I just remember all over C. Plus minus B squared, square root something plus something, all over B. All over C? I don't care. It doesn't matter. I've never used that formula except in high school, anyways. Because I dropped all my math related classes in college. Every single one of them. I was like, I'm not gonna need them. Except for the ones that I needed for the classes that I took. I would endure them for that semester, and then as soon as I didn't need them anymore for the credits, I dropped them and then I take something else. So I only get scary good at math when it's for something I need in the moment. Yeah, yeah. The weather. Ugh. Not the weather. I always hated that. Same. I don't appreciate insincere questions. Just like, and as much as I also don't like asking other people insincere questions, but I recognize that it's the social norm, because if I came up to someone and I was just like, "Oh, I need this from you," they would think I was rude. They'd be like, "Oh, you couldn't even ask me hi, you couldn't even ask me how I am." But I'm like, "But I don't care," right? But they would rather you pretended and asked just to go through the social conventions of it, because it would be rude not to, rather than just coming up and being like, "Sure, can you give me this?" Or, "I have, problem, please help me with it," and stuff. I don't know. It's just it's I hate when people ask about stuff they don't really care about. I always prefer to get straight to the point. Same, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying as well. I just don't understand it. Milu hates it so much. Milu hates it so much. What like they hate it so fucking much. It's like, oh my god, please don't ask me about it. They would try to preemptively just get to the point for them, you know? For example, especially because we took a lot of college classes together, and the people who'd come and ask us for like notes or group assignments and stuff. And a lot of time, if they came up and they were like, "Hey, hello, how have you been?" We'll just be like, "Do you want the notes, or oh, do you want to ask about the group assignment?" just to just to get it out of the way, to preemptively let them know it's okay to not care about me. I don't care about you. It doesn't mean we hate each other. We're just neutral towards each other, and that's fine. We don't need to pretend to be best friends just because you need something from me. I get it. I understand. It's fine. Oof. Water break. I've been yapping for a while, and I just realized that we have not touched any of these questions, guys. We haven't touched these questions. But maybe I should like add it. Let me quickly add a text thingy bob. Uh, for our incoming chatters, because I know that when I'm just yapping, they might not know exactly what like the context is. So let's see, how do I phrase this? Q and CTA. They couldn't. Oh fuck! My memories came back in the form of a mono. From, not form. Chi. All right, that should be good. God, it's so big. That's what she said. I'm so sorry, guys. Sometimes I can't help myself, and I don't know why. Like, for someone who's on the asexual spectrum, I sure make a lot of fucking jokes. I make a lot of like dirty jokes. I've noticed that with people with aspect individuals, we tend to make a lot of dirty jokes. We make so many, and it's like we're not even. And I think it's because our relationship with sex and sexuality, it's just a lot more, it's very different than those um who are what's the word, who are allosexual. Yeah, that was the word. I've forgotten. I want it to be black. Let's be black. Black, yeah, like that. Black. Okay, let me actually, in fact, I think I will add to it. Pick a number from the screen, and I will enter. I am the genie. There. There. Now it looks proper. Yay. A whole 1 hour 30 minutes in. LOL. But yeah, truly. And I'm still scrolling on my Tumblr messages looking for that fucking article. I'm so desperate to share it because now I'm just understanding that it could genuinely help. It could have been deleted. That's the worst part. Because if it's deleted off of Tumblr, then it definitely won't be in my it won't be my DMs again. It won't be my messages as well anymore, which is crazy. But every single time I find something new about ADHD or about autism, of course, I immediately send it to Milu. I'm just like, did you know this? Hey, look at this. Oh my god, look at another thing I found. This is amazing. That explains why you do this, or that explains why I do that. Isn't that crazy? It's always just the best because it's always like discovering either a new merit or demerit, and you're just like, wow, I fully understand myself a bit better now. Entirely, I can use this knowledge to enrich my life or make someone else's life miserable. Oh my god. Oh, the journey of mental health. Still beautiful to know. It's beautiful to know. I believe Let's just for now, let's just go from one down to this. We've already answered nine. Let's start with one. If you could change one core personality trait, what would it be? That's a good question. My core personality traits. What are they even? Oh my god. um, I would change. Oh, easy actually. I would rip away the people pleasing. I would destroy it. I would burn it to the ground. I would chop it into pieces. First of all, then I would throw it into a raging inferno. I would take out its ashes. I would bludgeon them with a huge ass hammer. I would put it in a box and lock it up with the thickest of padlocks and chains, and then yeet it to the bottom of the ocean. And because it's not enough that it drowned, I would put it on the nearest fucking aircraft that's going out into space and just yeet it out into the atmosphere so I wouldn't have to ever deal with it ever again. Yeah, that was easy. People pleasing. I would get rid of that immediately. Immediately. I'm technically already doing that by myself, little by little, but I want to do it faster. I want to get rid of it faster. I am so tired of not being exactly. I know I would make myself more confrontational. Exactly, Remo. Some people just need to get beat. They need to get slapped, and I'm tired of being always like, oh, I want to take the high road. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to become the angry black woman stereotype. Because honestly, it does not matter. Some people need to get whooped. Some people need to get their ass beat, and they need to get their ass beat by me specifically. You know. And I say some people, but there's truly only one person in my life that I've ever met that has ever really like been that much of an annoyance in my life, right? And that it has personally affected me to the point where I was like, I need to slap you so that you can change for the better. Maybe in this case, violence is in fact the answer. Genuinely, just genuinely. And I felt like it would have truly made things better. Too many people are far too comfortable with being disrespectful and walking over other people's boundaries. Exactly. Especially in the advent of the internet. I don't know who it was that said it, but the internet and social media have made too many people comfortable with talking shit and not getting punched in the face for it, right? Because there's so many things, so many, especially back. I mean, we all know the cesspool, the filthy pit that Twitter became, right? Where you just log on and it would just be rage bait and hatred and bigotry spewing everywhere, propagated everywhere for just absolutely no reason. And you know that half the people that are saying this shit would not say it in real life in front of the person, even if they thought it, even if they believed it with 100% of their being. A lot of them wouldn't say shit, right? And but social media, the protection, so to screen, so to speak, that they feel behind the screen, has enabled them that, oh, they can just say shit and get away with it because that's how it works on social media. They can just say shit and get away with it on social media. It's just and and because unfortunately once Twitter became X, that sort of behavior just kept on being rewarded and encouraged. You know, it just it became worse and worse and worse as time progressed. But truly, that's why I believe we should just bring back bitch slapping, because it just be like you say some shit, you get hit. Simple as that. Fuck around, find out. You know what I'm saying? If you want to say that stuff, fine. Keep speaking about freedom of speech, and I will also show you that I have, the freedom to react accordingly. So I guess consequences to your actions, babe. Because I don't know, it's happened so many times, but I saw this specific case of this guy saying this awful thing to this girl on Instagram, I believe, and it was because she was trans, obviously. So she took a screenshot of it and sent it to his university. And 2 weeks later, was it 2 weeks or a week later, he came back to her and was like, I'm not like that. I'm not a racist. I'm not transphobic or homophobic or anything. I didn't mean any of that. I don't even believe in any of that. I was just saying that because I thought it was edgy. Do you really want to ruin my life over this? And it just made me laugh so hard because you don't even believe it, eh? You're not actually transphobic, eh? Really? How interesting. So you just willing to say it for what? And it wasn't even like on a post. He went in her DMs, my guy. He went in her DMs. It wasn't like she put a post up there and then he replied under it, because they do that a lot. They do that a lot. TikTok is a huge, wonderful example of that ish and that rubbish, right? But no, he decided, I will slide into her DMs just to spout bigotry and hatred. And when, of course, she showed him the consequences of his actions, he was like, I don't even believe it. I was just saying it. But why? Why? It's just so stupidly interesting to me. Too many people are far too comfortable with being disrespectful. Yes. I've already read that. Oh, just wait until they have the fear of being doxxed overing their head. They will clean up their act real quick. Ah, isn't that exactly what happened to what's that guy's? I refuse to even say his name. Who said that shitty thing that he said after the U.S. elections and immediately got doxxed? And then I think they went back online and he went back online and was like, I said a joke and people didn't take it well. I was like, that's a joke. I don't see anybody laughing. Is the amusement in the room with us? Is it? Is the amusement? Is it in the room with us? Farming hate became the meta, sadly. Yeah, it literally became the whole point of that app, which is so unfortunate because Twitter started out as such a beautiful thing. But hey, it's not a problem because we have Blue Sky now. Yippee! And Blue Sky is so fun. I'm having so much fun on there. In fact, I think I'm having too much fun. It's beginning to ruin my life. I'm always on Blue Sky. Before, my go-to app was Tumblr. I was on Tumblr more than I was everywhere else. I didn't even have other social media accounts. I just had Tumblr. I got Twitter specifically because I started VTubing and I recognized that the VTubing space and the VTubing community and the fans and the artists and those who worked on VFX and GFX and sound effects and just all of them were on Twitter. You know, it was the place to be until it wasn't. I just loved how that worked when everybody just decided at the same time, okay, we have had enough. And Blue Sky didn't even have to do anything, bro. They just had to sit there and watch the muskrat fuck up. And that was all it took. I love women in STEM. I know. Me too. I just love women, period. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah. Oh, that means it must have been viral everywhere then. Ruined that kid's life. I was so happy he got his shit ruined. Honestly, I was just like, what did you expect was going to happen? Like, you live in a world where to you this is the thing you just say for what? For funny points? Then what a horrible, miserable world you live in. You think that's edgy and witty and funny? That's what you call edgy and witty and funny? Damn. That's depressing. He had been doing it to so many other people for such a long time too. Really? Well, like as they say, fuck around, find out. It's just the consequences of your actions. It's the consequences, bro. It's the consequences. You can't expect to be an absolute horrid human being to other people and just keep thinking that, you know, your life will remain unaffected by your actions. It's not how it works. Definitely not. If you wish to live in a society, then you have to make sure that that society doesn't fucking hate you. right? And not something inherently innate about you, something you can't change, like your skin color, or the color of your eyes, or the color of your, I don't know, or how tall you are. That shit you can't change. But your behavior, your personality, the way you address others, the way you address yourself, all these things that can be changed, you know? When you choose to deliberately just be awful, come on, man. Come on, man. That's just how it works. But now, blue sky, you can't go around disrespecting people and thinking everyone will simply take it. Exactly. There's some people who will fuck your shit up easily, happily, happily. They're just waiting for a reason. Just give them a reason, and you gave them a reason, like a baka. You just gave them a reason, like a baka. Why did you really think that nothing was going to happen? Dumb. But now Blue Sky is being tested with all the scammers and bots now coming around. It's going to be their first real test. Yeah, that's for sure. I've certainly gotten an increase in scammers and bots in my own following list, and I've tried my best to not just been, you know, I don't know. It's been difficult to try to just individually every single person that's following you and be like, are you a bot or are you a scammer? But I believe Blue Sky will be able to handle it. I think that they have what it takes. I'm rooting for them because I really like that app and I really like what it's doing, and I'm hoping that it stays the same. I'm hoping that it stays the same. I don't know. Not enough people remember that most people tend to remember how you made them feel even years later. Exactly. Oh my god, that's so true. People will always, to you, it's just another Tuesday. But for that person, it was one of the worst days of their life. And you came along and made it worse just because you could. Just because you wanted to, I don't know, feel like a big man. Oh god, it's like that because if you look back to a lot of our high school days, a lot of us will remember the people that were nice to us that one time when everybody else was being mean. I remember a lot of the times when my mates were kind to me when other people were kicking me down, and I also remember those who were kicking me down. And in fact, I remember them in very in HD 4K, like 4K resolution. I remember them. I remember their faces. I remember their names, and I remember exactly what it is that I wish upon them every single time. Nothing but the best. Nothing but the best. You can trust. Sure, I don't hold grudges. Of course I don't. I just wish you exactly what you deserve. Thank you. Karma. The number of times I've done something kind only to forget about it when it's brought up years later. Exactly. Someone will be like, oh, you don't know that you did this, but that day in this year in June, when I don't know, you did this. And I'm like, me? Are you sure? Are you sure you don't have me confused with someone else? Because I have no recollection. I have no idea what you're talking about. Was I even in the country when this happened? But it's true. People will always remember when you were kind. Because I remember everyone who was kind to me. Like everyone who was ever kind to me, especially when they didn't need to be. I remember them. I hold them fondly in my memory, and I wish them the best. And I truly just hope that they're doing okay, and I hope that they're all right, and I hope that things are going well for them. And that's why I don't believe. That's why I just believe that those who were just unnecessarily cruel for any reason, I'm just like, bruh, cringe is dead, but that shit is actually cringe. It's to me it's pathetic in a way not much else is pathetic. To be unnecessarily cruel just for the sake of it. It's just like nah, that is cringe. It's genuinely it's sad. But let's not talk about it. I've been experienced this with my mom when she wonder why I've held on to this item for so long. It's because it's a very helpful gift. I want to take care of it. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so nice. Your mom sounds like a lovely woman. Oh my god, let's finally move on to question number two. What is your deepest regret? I think I have a few, but the question is about my deepest regret. So I think it's, yeah, I think it's a certain time back in high school, right? I wasn't, I think the very first, okay, no, my very first high school, because I went to different high schools, three different high schools. Jeez, I went to three different high schools. God damn. Okay, but I believe it was like it was in relation to Milu. I wasn't there for them in the beginning the way I should have been. And that is something that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. Right, and this was right. This was also before we discovered anything about mental illness. Very much, so much early on before Bamilia was dealing with a lot, and they did not know how to deal with it, who to turn to, and we're in such a hostile environment, like such a hostile environment, and I feel like I could have been there more. Essentially, I feel like I could have been a better sister. I mean, eventually, we got together to help each other out, and we got together, and I listened more, and I was more there. But I hate that it took me any amount of time. I feel like I should have been, could have been there from the very beginning. Nothing should have stopped me from prioritizing Milu instead of myself or studies or my friends or popularity or whatever it was I was concerned with back then. So I think that's my deepest regret. Yeah, I think that is my deepest regret. I can't, I don't think I will ever forgive myself for it because Milu is the most important person in my life. And I feel like at that point they just needed somebody in their corner, and they must have felt so alone, and they must have, I don't know, it hurts my heart. Because when I say we're in a hostile environment, you all don't know what I'm talking about, man. Because we were in a place that I cannot call it anything else but uh and like really abusive, really abusive institution, right? Because it was a school, but I don't know if they taught us anything there but how to survive at the end of the day. I think that school only taught me how to survive and how to mask really well, like really well, and that's it. Because I don't remember anything else. You know how trauma, you realize that it's really traumatic when you barely remember. Both Milo and I barely, like, we have very scarce memories from that place. Like, it's a blur. It's a haze. There's some memories that stand out. There's some things we remember, but we barely remember that place at all. And I'm glad. Like, I know eventually we're going to have to deconstruct that, and you just have to go. You just have to make sure so we move on properly. But right now, I'm just grateful that we don't remember because I would really rather not. To be honest. Oh, I know I have more than a few. Yeah, we all make mistakes. Yeah, I wish we didn't sometimes. But yeah, it's human nature to be flawed, I suppose. I've come to learn in recent years that those are moments you have to forgive yourself for because you didn't have the mental tools to change what happened, but you should use that as motivation to not let it happen again. Truly, yeah. The one that I did manage to forgive myself for, this was the one that I thought of first before I thought of the one with Milu in terms of my deepest regret. The one I thought of first was my two friends in high school. I had been, and it was the same school, and it was the same place that I'm referring to. There was one in different years because I was there for 4 years, five, I don't remember. I was there for a couple of years, right? But I remember that I had two friends, not at the same time. I had them one after the other. But I had remembered, I said a very unkind thing to each of them once. It was just one time each. But unfortunately, with situations like this, one time is all it takes. And I still remember the look on the faces of these my friends when I said that very unkind thing. And I will never ever forget their faces. I remember years later when I was, doing shadow work and just trying to be a better person. I remember reaching out to them and just talking to them about it and then apologizing and just explaining and just not explaining, mostly just apologizing. And we talked it out and stuff, and eventually I managed to forgive myself for it. But yeah, I think that's those three situations. Those two situations, those two friends, right? Those two situations were why I decided that from then on I will do my best to be kind, and I will do my best to always put my best feet forward first, to try and be, you could see a paragon of kindness, even when I was not feeling kind, even when it was not required for me to be kind, even when it was easier to be anything else but kind. I think those moments were became the grounding motivation for me to always remain as kind as possible when dealing with people, especially those that I considered dear and near to my heart, you know? Anyways, I don't want to like doom and gloom up the atmosphere, so let's keep going. But yeah, Rimu, you're absolutely right. I did eventually forgive myself for some of my regrets. I'm still dealing with forgiving myself with my deepest regret. But yeah, eventually we'll get there, I'm sure. With as creative as I am, I'm pretty sure I can put the pieces together. I'm sure you can, but I've already gone through the problem of just exposing everything to you, haven't I? Oh, it's okay, Rimu, and it's okay, Senti, guys. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Wow, I've never been this vulnerable on stream before. That's crazy. I know we're supposed to be getting to know each other, but damn. Water. You guys are pulling out my deepest, darkest secrets. Yeah. Big motivation on why I so badly want to be quote unquote, I guess, a good person and stuff. Oh, ah, it just shows how comfortable you are with allowing that. Yeah, thank you. Honestly, I'm a very private person. I mean, duh. I'm a VTuber instead of a YouTuber. So automatically and I did it mostly for privacy reasons, right? Because I know people have different reasons for why they want to be a VTuber. The biggest reason, though, the most frequent reason, or the most reoccurring reason is privacy. Privacy, whichever way you say that. And for me, that was the reason as well, privacy. And but it's a trait that I've always had in sort of locking down what do you call it, details about myself. Even when I eventually wanted to share stuff, I'd find myself literally biting my tongue, right, over stuff that I wanted to say because I was just so unused to being honest or being vulnerable with other people. You know what I'm saying? But I guess it's easier a little bit when you're online because technically I'm by myself right now. I'm in my room alone by myself. And I just so happen to be speaking into a mic that communicates with other people online, but it still feels easier than if I were actually, I guess, sitting in front of someone and then communicating, oh yeah, this is the problem, this is what I'm going through, this is how I feel, and so on and so forth. You know? I've had to learn to be private because it took longer than usual to discover people were using that against me. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, dearest. But yeah, I mean, if if I imprint on someone that I feel like, oh yeah, this is like this person has the potential to be a good friend, I tend to like what do you call it, drop my walls and immediately overshare. Did you know that that was also a neurodivergent thing? Oversharing? Well, it's also, it happens to everybody, right? But I believe that there's a higher occurrence in the neurospicy population. I don't know where I read that. No, I this is why I wanted to find that earlier article, because I feel like I don't want to feel like I'm spreading misinformation. So take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I cannot find the scientific articles that I read them, and I cannot put them in chat as reference. It'll be like, where are your sources, bro? Bro, I don't know what my sources are. I'm sorry. I read it somewhere and I no longer remember the details and I no longer remember the specifics. So feel free to not quote me. Because I don't want to spread misinformation on the internet. Thank you very much. That's another neurodivergent trait. Most of us are terrible at lying or hiding the truth. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I read that. Yeah, I've seen that. Definitely. We'll quote the goddess anyway. Oh, please don't, because if you're wrong, I refuse to be associated with untruths and inaccuracies. So do not quote me. Do not quote me on that. And now that renews my now I need to definitely find that article, but it might have been deleted. I don't know. Can read the one that talks about you falling asleep when you do something that your brain is not getting, like, actual dopamine from. It's so crazy. I really, really want to find that one, because there was a term that they used, and it's, as long as you know the term, you can go do like actual research on it and Google it and figure out what it is. I could also just Google it without it and see what comes up, but like I said, I don't want to spread misinformation on the internet. So we'll see. But what if it's deleted and I'm just scrolling through my stuff for nothing? That would suck. Soma is here. Hey girl, congrats on affiliate. Thank you, Niche. Welcome. So good to see you here. We're just yapping, we're just answering questions from this random get to know me question website that I found. So far we've answered 1, 2, and 9. So I guess it's time to move on to number 3. What makes you truly happy? Oh my god, what a question. There's so many things. It's not one. B2B makes me happy. My sister and my mom make me happy. Having money makes me happy. I'm not gonna say the full stuff, but edibles make me happy. Food makes me happy. Oh my god, food makes me so happy. I love food. Nigerian cuisine and Asian cuisine and Indian cuisine are some of my top favorites so far. And I know Asian cuisine is a very general way to say it. A generalization term. I'm very sorry. I think I meant specifically, right? Specifically Korean cuisine and Japanese cuisine. There. So East Asian cuisine. I also love some Southeast Asian cuisine, like from Malaysia or from Indonesia. Oh, they just, or Vietnam. Oh, I don't know, that area of the world just know what they know what the fuck they're doing with food. Them, West Africa, South Africa. You know what? The entire continent of Africa, the entire continent of Africa. A lot like Asia, most of Asia, in fact, all of Asia, right? South Asia, Southeast Asia, East Asia, like they know what they're doing. Food. Who else? So far, these are the only two that I can stand on business, and I know I can represent anywhere that. All right, so that's how many things now. Food, my family members, VTubing, MJ, I guess, or edibles, and what else have I said? Sleep makes me happy. So sleep is another thing. Money, like having money makes me so happy. Money is so real and heavy on Nigerian food. OMG. Period. Like Lamau. Oh, Senti knows what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. What about British cuisine? Get out of here. Get out. Get out. How dare you? British cuisine. Rubbish. Get out of here. Absolutely fucking not. Bankers and mash. Toasting. What was it? The black thing. Licorice. Fucking scones. I was so excited to have my first ever British tea. I'll never forget. My mom had a friend who was really fancy in the UK, and she went to go visit her, and she took me and Milu with her, and this lady was all about like, you know, actual British, you know, stuff. And so she was like, oh, we're going to have a proper British brunch, and she brought out scones and tea and all that crap, and I'd never tried scones before in my life, and I was so excited. And I know there's different types of scones, but if you know the traditional actual British scones, and she had like baked beans on there. Was it black beans and fucking blood pudding? I'm not even sure anymore. I don't remember. I just remember it was traumatic. And I took the scone and I put that shit in my mouth, and it was like I was eating dust. Why? Why? Why does it look like that if it's gonna taste like nothing? And I never tried that shit again in my life. Fuck you. Like, genuinely. Pardon my French. I think I'm at my happiest when I'm either being a version of myself that a younger me will be proud to know they became, or when I get to be chaotically helpful because it's just too much fun. Oh, that's so nice. That's noble. Good for you, Remo. Sentient is laughing. You're laughing. We're talking about the trouble that British cuisine gave me, and you're laughing. Okay. LMFAO. Okay, guys, it really wasn't funny. I had never been more disappointed in all my life. I truly expected so much more. I think I built it up in my head at that point that, oh my god, it was this. And you know, I didn't know that tea doesn't necessarily come with sugar. You put the sugar after, so they would be like, oh, 2 sugars please, or oh, 3 sugars please. And polite, like if you're in polite society, you're not supposed to go above 2 sugars, right? I didn't know all that shit. I wasn't some fancy British person. So she gave the tea and she gave me the scone, and I wasn't allowed to put butter on it because the butter wasn't there. And not to mention, the butter wasn't the kind that was already salted. It was just plain ass butter. Anyways, there was no butter on the scone, and I took the scone and it was dry as fuck. So I drank the tea to like wash away the dryness of the scone, and the tea was like, it was this, I don't know how to describe the taste, but the taste was unhappy with me, and I was also unhappy with the taste. It was just an overall unhappy experience, and I was just like, Mom, if you are ever going to visit this your friend ever again, just forget I exist. I'm not there. You don't have a daughter. You don't have a daughter. Apologies. I'll be right back. Of course, Remu, take your time. I'm loving the topics though. Thank you. Take your time, darling. There's straight up at no point in unsalted butter that tastes like nothing. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Why does your butter have no life? Why is your butter screaming out to me, reaching out to me for flavor? Me. Why? It just, I don't get it. There is this unsalted butter that's really good. It's really creamy. It's so creamy. It's not salted, but it's this creamy, it has this lovely creamy texture, and it's so light. I don't know what kind of butter that is. That is the only other butter apart from unsalted butter that I approve of. That's the only other one that I acknowledge in this entire world that I agree is something. I'm shouting. I just had a lot of trauma related to that food. But anyways, yeah, that's what makes me truly happy. Good food, what I like to call soul food, endorsed from Africa and Asia, you know, those two continents, I can confirm they know what they're doing with food. I also do believe South America knows what it's doing with food. But unfortunately, I've never tried any type of South American cuisine quite yet. Even Mexican cuisine, I've never had. Like the type of tacos I've had, I don't think that actual Mexicans will endorse them because they were really, really inauthentic and bad. But so good food, good, good edibles. My mom and my sister. Uh, what else? I said five things. I've already forgotten. Sleep, money, and VTubing. These these things all make me happy. Yeah, yeah. So that's what makes me truly happy. I believe because VTubing, like I don't know if I've told you all the story, but VTubing literally breathed life back into me. I had gotten to this stage in my life where I didn't have a life. I just had shambles of a life and work. And of course, work was the reason my life was in shambles, but I couldn't leave work because if I did, then I wouldn't have a life at all, or so I thought, because I'm currently unemployed. And while I'm not financially secure in the slightest, I am the happiest and most fulfilled I've been in a very long time. So I'm grateful for that. I'm very, very grateful to have found this community. I don't know where I'd be otherwise. Probably still at that godforsaken job. Yeah. So that's what makes me happy. Okay, we should go on to the next question. Number 4. What one thing would you change about the world? That is so fucking easy. But before we answer that, Sentient has asked, what kind of job was it? Sales. Yeah. It wasn't by itself bad. The job itself wasn't difficult by any stretch of anything. It was actually pretty easy, right? The problem was when they changed it last minute, right? So in my final 3 months there, they had drastically changed everything about it. And it depends on the type of sales jobs you're doing or the type of company that you're working for, but you're either a sales rep or a sales manager, right? And a sales rep is technically doing only one aspect of sales. That's what I was doing, right? So it was definitely easy for me. A sales manager is doing the full sales cycle, right? So they're searching out, potential clients. They're reaching out to them, right? Both via calls, via emails, whatever other digital channels that they have in that company. And then they're closing deals with them. So they're making them sign contracts and collecting money essentially. So I didn't do the last part. I did the first part and I did the second part. And I didn't even do the first part that much. I focused more on that middle part of reaching out to them essentially. So, and that wasn't hard. I had a daily quota and a monthly quota, and I filled it quite easily. Well, the job was difficult in the beginning, but that's just because I was adjusting to new software and new tools and all that shit. And then eventually I got my, eventually I got my, I got into my groove, I figured out, my own specific pacing and how I did stuff. So I was doing all of that shit. And every time they would change, because they'll have to change the sales process depending on, let's say, time of year, or whenever they were trying to introduce a new product, or if they were switching their ideal customer profile to a different type, or if they wanted to test out a different aspect of the market and shit like that. So anytime those changes happened, it would take me a while. I would easily adjust, right? So to speak, because I already got the basics down because I've been doing sales for like years at this point, right? But then in my final 3 months, they changed everything so drastically. Like before, we were using like tools that at least helped us automate the process and keep track of what the fuck we were doing. This one, they made it fully manual. So we started using Excel sheets to keep track of data. Started using Excel sheets to keep track of like everything. At one point, I would be using 12 Excel sheets like at the same time, and I'd have to have it open. So I'd have, bro, bro, I was coordinating, like I was doing so fucking much. At one point, like a week in, just a week in, after they switched the whole process in. Oh, am I moving my mic? No, I'm not. I hate this mic so much. 1 second. I'm not touching it. I don't know why it's acting up. Apologies. Sorry. It's very sensitive. I don't know. I'm not used to this mic. I've tried to adjust it so that it's not as much, but it doesn't work. But essentially, back to what I was saying, they had made it so manual. So everything was like 3 times like harder and 3 times slower. Worse still, the tasks were ridiculous and impossible for one person to complete. So they onboarded me into this new sales process, and then a week in, they were like, "What's your take? What do you think?" I actually had called a meeting, like me, the employee. I was like, "Nah, bitch, I need to fucking talk to you. This is bullshit." And I essentially gave them my feedback. I was like, "Listen, if you want this thing to be possible, if you want to make profit of this shit, you got to bring in someone else, because I cannot do this by myself. It's just not possible for me to do this by myself. You need to break this down into 2 different parts at least. I recommend 3 different parts, but I know that you're not going to do 3 different parts. So break it down into 2 mini processes instead of this one big thing that only small me is supposed to be taking care of at one time, and make one person handle this part and one person handle the second part, and maybe you will be a bit more efficient and you can actually fucking make money from it." And they were like, "Okay, we've heard you, we'll bring someone in." And they brought the person in, and this person was like constantly in my like messages going, "Oh my god, I need help. Can you do this? I'm running behind. I can't keep up. Blah blah blah." That was with someone else, right? And I still had to handle the second thing. And the worst part of it is that it was like accumulative. So if you didn't finish up whatever you had to do like the week before, by next week you would have like 50 more things to do, or 50 more things to keep track of. I know, it was bad, bro. It was bad. And all of this is manual. You're not even like automating anything. It's all Excel sheets, bro. Huh. Just remembering is giving me like, it's raising my blood pressure. God. And so I was like, this is even with someone else. We're both so overwhelmed. Like, we each need assistance. And you guys were trying to make me do it just by myself. I quit after that. After that, I was like, I can't do it. Worse still, I was already battling with my health, but I was willing to like tough it out because I was at least getting health insurance from the job. But after that, I was like, it's not even worth the health insurance. It really isn't. I would rather just like get sick. I would rather just not be able to go to the doctors than to endure this, because this is awful. Oh, hell no. Hell no, OMG. Yeah, it was bad. It was really, really bad. Oh, you hit the slay button. What are you talking about? Gosh, that sounds disgusting. Yeah, it was bad. But eventually I left. I just told them, "Listen, it's been great. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm leaving now." And they were like, "What? But why? Is there anything we can do to make you stay?" And I was like, "Pay me triple. Maybe not triple. Just add a couple of $100 onto my current base salary." And they were like, "Well, it was a pleasure. Goodbye." Because I was like, I could do this, because if you hire one more person, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. And if you paid me like 400, 500 extra, it would be a bit worth it. And they were like, mm. And I was like, "Okay, fine. You can't do that. Is it possible that I stop working the night shift then? Can you shift me to do the other shifts?" Because I was working the night shift So up on all of this, I was working the night shift, by the way. And before this change, I would finish at around 2 a.m. tops, right? Because I was just that good at my job. I had already figured out everything. I knew how to like maximize my time. I knew how to, and I was working remotely too. So there was no distractions. I didn't need to commute. There was no, I would just focus on the job. I would sit on everything and I would just chill. Wait. Losers, OMG. Hey, Lucy. Congrats again. Jan, thank you, darling. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're just, answering questions and stuff and just chatting. I heard, oh, you hit the slave button, and my head shut up ready to fight. What? Reboot? What the fuck? No. That is not what we said. No, not even close. Oh my god, I'm sweating. Shit. No, that is not what we said. Not what we said at all. No. But yeah, so essentially I'd been working night shift. So before this draconian change, I would finish at around 1:30, 2 a.m. and I'd be in bed by 3. And tops I would wake up the next day, quote unquote, at around 11 a.m., right? But that was still okay for me because 11 a.m. is still pretty early on in the day and I could still, run errands, do chores, go grocery shopping and shit. Oh my god. Thank you, Anon. Thank you for the sub. Oh my goodness. That's my first ever sub, guys. Thank you so much. BB, hi. Thank you for the sub. Oh my god. Thank you. Okay, so someone gifted BB a sub. Thank you. I can't even thank you because I don't even know who you are. But thank you so much for the subscription. Extremely based Anon. Yeah, thank you. That is extremely based. I'm using some internet slang, some giga chad behavior. Oh god. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. They hit the slay button. Yeah, the slay button, not the slave button. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the sub. Whoever you are, mwah, I appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, and so after this draconian change to the process, I started finishing at around 4 a.m. Like 4 a.m. in the morning is when I would finish work. So you can imagine what that did to my sleep schedule. So that's when everything really started to go downhill for me, right? Because I still endured this whole thing for like 2 whole months because even when you put in your 2 weeks, you still have to work for 2 weeks. And as soon as they figured out that I was quitting, it's like they tried to pile on as much work as they possibly could before I left while they found a replacement. And it didn't help that my team, I wasn't the only one who quit. So one person had quit 2 weeks before I did. In fact, we'd had a company there'd been a company meetup type thing, like a company dinner, and we were drinking, and we all work remotely, so we barely get time to actually see each other and talk to each other and shit because we're not friends, we're coworkers. So when we got to the drinking thing, I went there, and then one of my colleagues was there because we were in the same team, and he was like, by the way, I'm leaving. And I was like, what? When are you leaving? And he was like, oh, I already put in my 2 weeks. I only have 1 week left and then I'm gone. And I was like, oh, wow. And that was what actually inspired me to also go, you know what? I'm putting in my 2 weeks too. So as soon the next day, I put in my 2 weeks, right? And then when my direct supervisor, by the way, found out that I was leaving, he put in his 2 weeks. So it was like 3 of us in the course of 1 month. And I know it was because of this bullshit change. So all 3 of us left. And I think they were just beginning to feel the pressure. The chain reaction is crazy, I know. It's like it almost was like we planned it. I almost felt that for them. Almost. Right? It was so fucking like it was so cathartic, right? For me to quit and missed everybody else quitting because I was literally in the middle. Because they quit and then I quit and then my direct supervisor quit and it was just like and that was like the whole department except one person. So only one person stayed back. And I think they needed to because, it was related to like their visa or something. So I just, you know, yeah, they were still getting their visa done. So I think that's why they stayed. But like, it was just so funny to me. It was genuinely hilarious. Deserved. I know. I fucking know, right? But yeah, it definitely was about time because I was already dealing with severe health issues and now suddenly I'm supposed to be going to bed at god knows what time. And it really worsened situations for me because I already had trouble sleeping, right? I was just managing it with fucking melatonin pills and shit. But then after this change that they did, I would finish work at 4 a.m., which means that I would fall asleep at like 7 a.m. And if I was really, really unlucky and I was having a really bad day, I wouldn't fall asleep until like 11 a.m. that morning, right? I would finish work at 4, and then in the middle of that time, I would be like, okay, this is the only time I have to do what I want. Maybe I should read that book, or I should finally watch this VTuber that I've wanted to watch for a while, or get into this new piece of media, or this new TV show, or this new fan fiction, or whatever it was that I wanted to do. And then I would do all of that in that time because I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. And then I find myself falling asleep at like 12 p.m., 11 a.m., maybe even 2 p.m. So obviously my day was ruined. Like I wouldn't be able to do anything. I'll wake up and the day will be over. I'd wake up at like 6 p.m., which is like just 2 or 3 hours before I was supposed to start work. So it was just an endless cycle of sleeping and then waking up, working, sleeping, waking up, working. I wasn't doing anything. I couldn't meet up with friends. I wouldn't even be able to do chores around the house, bro. I wouldn't be able to cook dinner because I'd be stressing out about work. I wouldn't be able to go grocery shopping because I'd have work in an hour, 30 minutes. And I didn't want to miss any meetings they might fucking pull out of the blue. It was miserable. It was miserable. Genuinely, a company can only stand when their employees are happy and taken care of. It's like it's just simple math. It's simple math. I don't understand why they don't get it. Like that's how it is. The employees make the company. If the employees keep leaving, if the employees aren't happy, if the employees keep fucking off, you guys have nothing to stand on. You've got like what? Worse still, if you'd used your company resources that you find so important to you to train these employees when they newly come in, if they don't have like the level of specialized experience that you want them to, right? They just got the potential for it. So you bring them in, you do all sorts of things, like you train them, you put them through all these workshops, you give them like, equipment for work, and then in less than a month, in less than 2 months, they're leaving by the droves. You're hiring and firing. You're hiring far more than you're firing. It's like constantly hiring. Like your turnover rate is ridiculously high, and you're like, yeah, we'll expect to make the profits um that we put in the roadmap that we forecasted by this time. I'm like, how do you expect to make any profits at all? You're shit. And if you're shit, like at one point, we were making a game. Well, not at this particular job, but at my previous job before this one, we'd make a game of how little we could do because they weren't paying us enough. We'd be like, like, boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I doze off on company time. You know, like, why would I work? Like, why would I give my best at all? Why would I even give like a quarter of my best? I worked harder in college, bro, than I did at work. And that's crazy because everybody slacks off in college. It's the place to slack off, bro. Whatever. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Here's why: because they don't have enough empathy and don't feel the consequences of their actions enough. Period. That's a truth. That's a truth I can get behind, Remu. Keck W. Yes. Alright, let's move on to the next question. Oh my god. I can't believe we've only done like 6 of these. Jeez. What have I been yapping about for the last 2 hours and 30 minutes? Okay. What's one thing you would change about the world? Oh yeah, I hadn't yet answered this one. That's easy. I would just remove bigotry. I would just remove bigotry of any kind because honestly, that's just bullshit. And if that means a couple of religions have got to go, I'm sorry. But yeah, bye bye. I'm just removing bigotry entirely. Everybody is nice to everybody else. Actual peace on earth. Period. Yeah, so that question was easy. I'm not gonna go into details because I'm sure you all understand exactly what I'm fucking talking about. So next, who do you trust completely? Milu. Next. Milu and I have no secrets from each other, right? I mean, we do have like the secrets that everybody is normally supposed to keep to themselves and shit about themselves. But honestly, I'm not even sure about that because like we were each other's discount therapists because we couldn't even afford therapy yet. So Milu for sure. Best friend and sister, plus we live together. Come on. Legit. Nah, you so real for that. I mean, what else would you take out of the world, man? Bigotry is the cause of so much bullshit. So much ridiculous wars that don't need to exist. So much ridiculous persecution that doesn't need to exist. Misery, propagating nothing but more misery. I think it's at the end of the day the root of all evil. Because some people feel entitled and feel that they're superior to some other people, that all sorts of nasty shit starts that doesn't have any place starting. It doesn't have any place in the world. It's just unnecessary. Every billionaire, period, Senti. Actually, maybe I should change my answer. But yeah, every United Healthcare CEO. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding, but Papa Twitch, I am kidding. For the sake of legal purposes, I am joking. Hope racism is under that umbrella, because what the fuck had to have happened centuries ago for black people to be hated as much as we are? Yeah. Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say. I have so many words. I want to say so many things. You have no idea the flood that I am holding back right now. It's cartoonish. It's like one of those scenes in those movies or those shows if someone stuffed all the things and they had in the house and under a wardrobe and try to lock it and think that it was gonna hold, but it just came bursting out and flooding everywhere. That's how much I have to say on what you just said, Remu, because absolutely. Absolutely. I have so many words. I have so many words. But Papa Twitch wants me to put a label on this type of on stuff because I'm apparently advocating for sensitive political issues or whatever the fuck, however the fuck they phrased it. Whatever. Lamau, real as fuck. But yeah, you can assume, remove that racism is definitely under that umbrella. All the isms are there. All the isms. All the isms and all the phobias and all the, yeah, they're all there. Cackling. Yeah, that sigh and yeah told me more than enough. I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. Because it doesn't really need much explanation for those who are living through it now, does it? When was the last time you felt lost? Oof, that was very recently, like 2 days ago. like 2 nights ago. Like, if we're talking about just felt lost in a very like in not such a deep sense. Yeah, like 2 days ago, bro. Because I was like thinking about my financial situation and I was just going, bruh, how am I gonna do this shit? But you know, I feel I still feel good about the future. I'm still optimistic despite the situation. So that might not be the last time I felt lost. Let me think. Hmm. I think it would have been precisely 6 months ago in relation to some migration issues. But they've been resolved now. Every time migration issues pop up, I feel lost. Because that shit is giving me some PTSD. I'm not gonna lie when I say that I've had issues with them every single year since I reached this goddamn place. And it's half the time it's not even been my fault. It's been their fault and I had to fix the issues anyways because they don't give a shit about you. They don't care about the individual. It's all about thingy. Hi Milu. What's up? Hello. I was just talking about you. In fact, I've brought you up every single time a question has come up. Do you know? You don't know. Yeah, Milu's here, everybody. Hello. Yeah, because I'm doing a question and answer session, and they asked, "Who do you trust completely?" And I was like, "You." And they were like, "What makes you truly happy?" And you were also there. And then, you know, you've just come up in conversation a lot. Hi, Milu. Senti saying hi.
Hi, Susan.
You're going to bed? Okay, good night. Night. Sleep well.
Good night, Susan.
Good night. Oh, there's other people, so you can just say good night, everybody.
Oh.
Chat. Okay, so that's me, Lou, saying good night, everybody. They're going to sleep now. That makes me wonder about the time. Good night, Milu. Oh, she has such a sweet voice. Yeah, they do, or don't they? They're very cute. Oh my goodness, it's. Oh wait, I forgot I was using this type of time. It's 9. That's crazy to me. That's so crazy to me. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. I technically started this. Yeah, it's been 2 hours 30 minutes. We can still go on for a bit. My jaw does hurt a little though, so I'm just gonna. All right, there. Should feel better. Next question. What is an absolute relationship deal breaker for you? I guess it would be the absence of the what I mentioned in number 9. If I see someone who doesn't have empathy, I see someone who's um you know, who's not intelligent or who's willfully ignorant, right? Then it automatically it's a turn off. Like it's such an automatic turn off. For example, I remember that back in college, when we were, in that phase in college when you're still technically making friends with everybody, right? Because everybody's so excited to be there. Everybody's so excited to be in this new environment and to experience all these new things that they're going to experience and finally have the freedom that they don't have in that they don't really have in when they're still living with their parents and stuff. So there was this guy who, like, I don't know, we were just pretty cool, and it wasn't a romantic thing because back then I definitely shut myself off to any sort of romantic relationships because I just didn't feel that way about people, as someone who was a spec. So, but I was like open to having friends and stuff. and they we were just chilling, and like over the course of like a couple of weeks, it was just like, oh yeah, the vibes are great and stuff. And then one day he drops that he listens to that he what do you call it? He respected Andrew Tate, and I was like, oh. And then I never spoke to him again. I was like, what? Same niche. If they smoke cigarettes, willful ignorance, or if they constantly break promises. Period, Rima. Yeah, breaking promises is definitely a no. But yeah, that was college. Senti, what happened to you in college? But yeah, I get that because same. But yeah, pretty much that's exactly what happened. And I remember giving him a look when he said that, and he looked at me like, "What?" You know, like, "Duh, of course I." And he was trying to convince me. He was like, "No, Andrew, he's actually a really good guy. The things that he talks about are actually really like good for improving yourself and improving your life and all of that stuff." And I just remember looking at him and going, "Oh, mm-hmm, oh, okay." I see. Okay. And I just never spoke to him again. Like, I was just never comfortable around him anymore after that, for very good reason, too. So, yeah, that was the situation. And, bro, the way I discovered that he wasn't the only one, because there were so many other guys that would just name drop Tate every once in a while. And I would just be like, what? Why? What the fuck? When did this guy suddenly become everybody's best friend? Like, enough. I'm tired of it. Oh my god. I had to be listening to lectures just randomly bringing up trans people in class just to shit on them. Rah. Oh my god. I don't even think I told you about this one. So I took this business course, right? And Milu also took that business course, right? We're making up for it. We're getting some extra credit. And I remember in one of the classes they were asking ways to make like money out of deals. I forgot the contents of the class because it's not like it was that interesting anyways. But some guy pipes up and says, um, you could be an arms dealer. Specifically, you could sell weapons to both sides. For example, if America is fighting Afghanistan, you can sell weapons to America, then on the side also sell weapons to Afghanistan, and then you make double the profit. And Milo and I just looked at each other, and then we just looked at him, and then we looked at each other, and then we looked at the professor. Are you hearing this shit? Like, what kind of baby Hitler type bullshit are you talking about right now, bro? And he said it with this really smug look on his face, like he was so smart and so like so enterprising. Like he was like, yeah, I bet you didn't think of that idea, huh? And I was like, oh my god, free me, I beg. May I go home? I beg, please. It's too much. Please free me. Free me. What? I know. The damage Entertain has done to today's man is unfathomable. Oh god, don't even bring. I'm just gonna start crying, honestly. Because the thought about it is so fucking sad. I was going through some, like, there's this Reddit page of people talking about losing their friends, especially their male friends or their male family members or their male loved ones to the alt-right. And it's genuinely so depressing. So you gotta put him down. I know. Like it was such a pause moment, you know? It really was like, wow, some of us are not from the same part of the planet. We truly aren't. We're truly built different. We're truly not the same people at all. Like, not even close. Because you really just said that. Like, you really just said that, and it was like entirely okay to you to just suggest that. Like, okay, and you thought you were eating, but because my bro thought he ate and left no crumbs because he was looking around like he was expecting us to all burst into standing ovation, just huge round of applause for this brilliant gentleman on the front row seat. Please offer him the Nobel Peace Prize and kiss him on the lips. Don't forget to give him the keys to your car and a free pass to and a free pass to all the fast food in within a 1 mile radius. It was just so baffling to me, honestly, that you could speak that and expect that people would just be like, yeah, you're the man. We love you. Come over here. Let me suck your dick. It's just, hello? What kind of reaction were you expecting, mate? I don't get it. Yelling. But yeah, there's a lot of deal breakers for me. But if I see any trace of that rubbish, any trace of that bigotry, of that kind of awful type of behavior, I'm pivoting away so quickly. I'm gonna get whiplash and crack my neck. Honestly speaking, like, because you can't honestly afford and think that, okay, that's definitely the way to go, and this is definitely the way to get girls. It's just, oh my goodness, stop it. Or just, I don't know. That's an absolute relationship deal breaker. Yeah, for sure. I think I'll be willing to put up with a lot, right? Because I remember I was yeah, I'd be willing to put up with a lot, but not that. Not that. Because how can I be in a relationship with someone who I have to constantly explain that, yes, in fact, women do deserve more rights than that, or that that's not how flirting works, actually, that's closer to harassment, or that's not okay to say or think or believe. Hello? I don't know. Sometimes I truly am confused. I'm like, I didn't know people like you existed. I thought you were fiction. I thought you were fictional. I thought it was a lie. I thought people were exaggerating. I did not know that ignorance like yours was still propagated, only for me to find out that not only is it propagated, but it is widespread. In fact, it is mainstream now. The lack of common sense is mainstream now. The lack of basic human empathy is mainstream now. You know, it's a hot take to say stuff like, oh, I think people deserve universal healthcare. I think that's an okay thing to have. you know, I think everyone deserves the right to education, regardless of gender, sex, or any other fucking factor that they can barely, I don't know, demographics. Regardless of demographics, people have rights to stuff. Sue me. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. All right, let's move on. Before Twitch forcibly changes my label classification for me. Um if you could participate in one historical event, what would it be? Oof, I think I already have the answer to the question. I just have to remember it. Probably a lot of music festivals. The truth is I've never even been to like a a concert before, and there's some very historical concerts like I would love to go to. But a historical event, I feel like I have been through enough historical events these last couple of years. Like since 2020, I feel like I have just lived through historical event after historical event after historical event after historical event. I'm kind of tired of it. I think I've had enough for one lifetime. I don't really think I need to go back in time. I have lived through historical events, bro. First, it was the pandemic. The pandemic was just the start of everything. But I have been living through historical events. Trust me, I'm good. I don't. I think my resume of historical events is maxed out, bro. I think it's maxed out. I don't think I need anything more. Please make it stop. I just want to rest. I'm tired, mate. Oh my god, I'm so tired. I just want to not live through a historical event for 1 year, bruh. Nah, legit, we got enough historical events for this lifetime. Like, I'm done. Honestly speaking, I'm barely like, I'm in my mid 20s. I feel like I'm 40 something because I've lived through so much shit, bro. Like, at this age, It don't do. As it don't do. I beg it don't do. Just make it stop. Make it stop. I beg. I'm so tired. We've lived through enough historical events. Okay, okay. Like whoever the universe, like a petition from this particular goddess that I do believe the planet Earth has gone through its full. It's like I feel like it has overutilized and just overshot whatever limitations that it possibly had on historical events. We have had enough. Like, it's just been 4 years, 2020 to 2024. And I feel like we've lived through 2 decades, maybe even four. It's too much. Because I describe it as COVID fucked the world and made it its bitch, bruh. If, like, it's not even just that. COVID was just the trigger. It was the start to everything. It's like ever since then, it's just been like I felt like the world needed a vacation, and now it's just done with itself, and it doesn't even know how to function anymore. And I don't know how else to describe it because, genuinely speaking, it's been a ride. It's been a ride with almost no ups, right? So low lows, the lowest lows, and then you get like a high that barely lasts 2 months before there's a huge low again. We need we need a vacation. We need 2 6-month vacations back to back. Yeah, like a whole year essentially. 2 6-month back to back vacations, bro. Mm. I've just drank some more water. Needed bad. Yeah, I know. So terribly badly. I feel like we can do a couple more of these and then we can just like call it a day. What do y'all think? I feel like we can do a lot more and then we can call it a day. Wait, where is it? Yeah, here it is. Let's scroll down a bit. Mm. Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's continue. When no, I've already answered that. If I could begin to be half of what you think of me, I could do about anything. I could even learn how to love. When I see the way you look, wait, what takes your breath away? What kind of question is that? Okay, actually, I can answer it. Wait, before that, I think I skipped one. What do you think about when you're alone? What everyone thinks about when they're alone? Well, extremely compromising positions for Yahweh, number one. Then extremely compromising positions for Yuri, specifically. Women kissing. Yeah, sentient. Get out of my head. Oh my god. You made me laugh so hard I started coughing. Bro, you're ridiculous. But yeah, it's true. I thought about it too. Just extreme. I mean, I think about smexy stuff. I'm just not in the smexy stuff when it's happening. Sometimes I am, and sometimes I'm not. And what else do I think about when I'm alone? I think about my fears. I try not to, but it happens. Both of y'all are so real for that. I mean, yeah, man. Don't die, OMG. I'm okay. I'm okay. I mean, what? Who said that? No, listen, this is a safe space. You're allowed to say that, bro. I also think about arguments years ago that I could have won. I think about witty things to say, and then I think of new arguments that don't exist that I could win with the witty things to say that I come up with on the spot. I think about my fears and insecurities that I try not to think about. Mostly my fears, because my insecurities have been dwindling. I know, right? That positive self-talk is coming a long way. But yes, I think about And I think about the people in my life who I feel have wronged me and wronged other people in my life, specifically like family members and how they could be doing better. I think about my future, how excited I am for it, and what it has in store for me. I think about death a lot as well, um, both in relation to me and in relation to like externally outside of me. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. When I'm alone, I'm always thinking of choreographed fight scenes, music videos, character development, video game ideas. There's a whole universe in my brain. That sounds awesome. I like that, Remo. I love that for you. Choreographed fight scenes, same. If I'm listening to music while I'm thinking, and it depends on the type of music, but I also imagine myself in music videos a lot, or just create music videos for myself, or I imagine myself kicking ass. You know, like I'm this awesome, amazing character who knows a lot of martial arts and just beating up all the bad people in the world, stuff like that. I also think about getting superpowers and just going ape shit on everyone. I think about clothes, sort of fashion, types of shit I'd like to wear. I think about so many things, you know? What was the question? Wait. Yeah, that's what I think about when I'm alone. I think about being worshipped. And yeah, like that. Okay, okay. I think I've answered this question enough. Yeah. True ace moment. Yeah, essentially. Because to me, a fight is a puzzle that's being solved in real time that both are being adapted to. I agree with that. And I think the best iteration of that particular perspective, Remo, is this. You know, I don't know if y'all have watched the Sherlock Holmes movies, the one that starred RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., right? I really liked the fighting style in those two movies with Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law. So Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock Holmes and Jude Law as Dr. Watson, right? And there was a specific way he'd fight where it'd be like where it'd be like, oh, I do this to, like, for example, I slam I slap my hands over his ears to destabilize him, and to ruin balance and stuff. And while he's hunched over from the noise, I use my knee to kick his nose and disorient him further, and also create an injury by breaking his nose and making him lose blood. And while he's recovering from that, I kick him in the nuts to fun, stuff like that. I really like the way. I don't know if you guys know the movies, but if you do know those movies, you know what I'm talking about. I like that way. It really illustrates how much fighting is like a puzzle that you're solving in real time, and I really, really, really liked it. And I remember thinking to myself when I saw those scenes, I don't want to fight like that. That looks so incredibly cool. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's something I would like to do. Okay, let's keep. Wait. Yes, I do the fight scene and music thing too all the time. Yeah, same ish. Same. It's so fun. I mean, what else are you going to do in your free time? With your imagination. I mean, you could literally imagine yourself as all your favorite characters from everything. Okay. Oh gosh, the superpower thing reminded me of a meme I saw a month back. You could be sent back in time to the height of slavery with one superpower. What power would you pick? God damn. Sentient. What I want to say will get me banned off Twitter. uh, that's a good question, but I don't even want to think about it. There's too many things, and there's too many like uses for those things. I think it would just be mind control to make it easy. Mind control, probably. LOL, necromancy is your pick, isn't it? Well, that is an interesting pick. Oh, that is a very interesting pick. The possibilities. Damn. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's get down all the way to number 15, and then I believe I will bring this session to a close. Very okay, so let's see. What is a secret about yourself you've never shared with anyone? Anyone? I believe, I mean, Milu probably knows all my secrets. So I'm not sure if any secret I have would qualify. I'm not sure if any secret I have will qualify, since Milu probably knows all of them. I don't even remember some of my secrets. Like, that's the thing about ADHD. Like, I'm like, oh, here's a secret, and then I immediately forget about it, and I never remember it again. So, your secret is genuinely safe with me because I never remember what it is. Okay, what's a secret about myself I've never shared about anybody? Damn. I don't know. I don't think there is one. I don't know. Uh-huh, sure. Said you. So necromancy isn't your pick. I appear to know all of them because I'm just piecing little details you reveal about yourself to form a greater picture. Oh my goodness. This is actually a huge fear of mine. That someone will do this enough that somebody somewhere from my past will be able to figure out who I am from all the details that I've shared online, and then be able to piece down or pin down my identity. That's a huge fear of mine, actually, and it's part of the reason that I didn't want to, like, I was like, oh my god, I'm never going to be vulnerable on stream. I'm never going to say too much about myself in terms of personal details. I think I've done that. They would have to be here enough to get the info. True. Or they could just watch my VODs. They could just watch my VODs. But then again, it's not, because it's not that a lot of the details that I have are they're very broken up, right? You will have to have been in all those spaces in my life, in all those places and all those specific times, because I've lived in a lot of different places. And in all those different places, I do believe I was a very different person because, the circumstances and the environment and all of so many other things. And if you were there in any of these places, and if you knew me in any of these places, truly knew me, and then you would know me somewhere else. And, well, I don't think it's possible anyway, is what I'm trying to say. Maybe you'd be able to piece together a part of me, the part of me that existed in that point in time and in that place, but then you would have to also piece together all the other parts of me, sorry, that existed in the different places that I existed at those times. And a lot of people, like, no one else has that privilege except Milu, because they were there in every single point in my life, right? So, and most people, even my parents, weren't there that often. So, because the me that is here now is different from the me that was in high school, and is different from the me that was in college, which is different from the me that wasn't. That's my point essentially. You don't even upload your VODs though. I upload some. I upload most of them actually. It's all on my YouTube channel, and here is time for the perfect shameless plug. Is it YT? No, it's this. Sorry. 1 second. Lamau. Yeah, thank you, Freemu. There, it was YouTube, not YT. Anyways, yeah, that's it. And who would even have that much time to spend on that? Some people are weirdly dedicated. That's all I'm gonna say. So people are weirdly dedicated. Did you hear about that case in Japan of that idol posting a selfie, and some guy was able to triangulate her location from the reflection in the pupils of her eye? Did you all hear about that shit? Oh shit. When I heard that, bruh, I was like, hello? This is why I'm a VTuber, bro. This is why I'm a VTuber. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's so fucking scary. Ah, and not to mention, there's that guy, that geolocator guy, who's super famous on TikTok, where you can just give him the vague, blurry image of a picture of somewhere with no street signs, no anything, and he'll be able to go, that type of grass only grows in subtropical regions, and I'm guessing from what do you call it, the soil, that type of soil only exists in South American countries like this, and then he'll be able to go, it's Brazil, and then he'll be able to pinpoint the fucking city in Brazil too. Fucking mad lad, bro. Crazy. This is before you're able to filter out all the people that's similar to you on Twitch. That's so true. You know what? Yeah, that's what, like, a part of me I've read, like, has accepted that it's close to impossible. So it's not something that I'll worry about. But it's still a fear. You know, fears sometimes are irrational. So so yeah. Yeah. Sentient, you didn't hear about that, but yeah, it's true. Some, I don't know if it was Japan or Korea, but I know it was somewhere in East Asia. An idol took a selfie, all right, and posted it, and some guy was able to find her location due to like the reflection in the pupils of her eyes. Like, hearing that shit freaked me the fuck out. I was like, how is that even, what? That's a special case, and it still amazes me and pisses me off the same. It amazes me and scares me. It's highly concerning, but you know, I'm not showing my face on the internet for very good reason. From the very beginning, I've always known that I wanted to be, you know, anonymous, so to speak, that I didn't want my personal features or my name and all of that to be on the internet. So I, and this was way before I ever thought of becoming, of actually seriously pursuing like content creation in any sense. Like, I'd resigned myself to just never doing it because I didn't see a way for me to exist on the internet without showing my face, unless I was like an animator, you know, like Domix or Jaden or the odd ones out. So yeah. And I don't blame you for not wanting to show your face. Yeah. At best, I'll 3D model an avatar for myself to use as my face, but otherwise, nope. But with a few rare exceptions. Yeah, I get it. Honestly, with the amount of dopamine and just happiness and oxytocin and serotonin and just all the happy hormones and all the happy chemicals that your body produces that I get when looking at my model, like, just with the amount of good feelings I get from looking at Lucifera Malane as she truly is, I think I'll be satisfied with my model and with the representation, like the projection and the self-expression that I'll get from that for a very long time. Of course, I eventually plan on pursuing a 3D route as well, because Milo and I have big plans for like concerts and stuff eventually, sometime soon. And I mean, sometime soon, I mean like after debut and stuff. But you know, we want to do stuff like that as well. So 3D modeling would be the best way to go. So obviously, I plan on doing that sometime in my career as a VTuber. But so far, I'm super satisfied with this method. I'm very, very, very grateful that VTubing exists. And being able to use an avatar that you created that can truly represent who you are as a person, who you know to be as a person, and who you want to be as a person as well. It's just amazing. I will be there no matter what. Oh, Cindy, stop! You're gonna make me emotional. Let me know if you ever want a 3D model. I do sell them as commissions. Oh, I will keep that in mind, Dreamer. Thank you. I will. Yeah, I fell in love with the charm of 2D models, to be honest. I really love them. I really, really do love them. So I'm sure that I'm going to wear out my 2D models, because I plan on having multiple as usual. But yeah, I will definitely keep you in mind for 3D. life to the derogatory. Why? There's such a beautiful charm about life 2D models though. Honestly, the model you have right now is adorable as fuck. I know Jackie's really cute. She's really. I've honestly grown attached to her. Yeah, I've just come to like really like look at her and be like, oh, you know. But there is something to be said about looking into the screen and seeing yourself, you know, seeing yourself as you are, as you've always meant to be, as you've always wanted to be. There's something so powerful. Like I told you all before in the previous stream, when I finally got the one of the first iterations of Lucifera finished from my artist mama, I couldn't stop looking. I couldn't stop staring. And I'm talking about this. It happened, it went on for months, where I would just pull up the PNG and just look. Like I'd be at work, I'd have a horrible day. I would open the PNG and I'd just stare. I'd open the PNG and I would just look. I would open. She's actually currently, she is my WhatsApp background page. In fact, I wanted to make her my lock screen wallpaper, my home screen wallpaper, my WhatsApp background page, just so I could keep looking at her all as open as I could get away with, because it's just there's some I don't know, it's life giving. There's something reinvigorating about it. It feels so powerful. It literally brings me back to life, you know, especially when I'm down. It's genuinely an amazing feeling. So I love Jackie. I really do. I've grown really attached to her. I'm very grateful for the opportunity she's afforded me to even start VTubing at all in the first place. But I can't wait to look like myself. I really can't. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Yes, real as fuck, me as fuck. Yeah, I mean that's the thrill most of us get from it, no? The fact that we can create this version of ourselves in our head, and we can see it come to life in the most literal sense. It's not just that it's been drawn and plucked from your brain and now it exists in this form that you can look outside of yourself, externally outside of your head. But no, you can literally inhabit, and you can move, you can blink and she will blink with you. You will open your mouth to speak and she is speaking with you. Your words are coming out of your mouth in a medium that you never thought was possible. It's so beautiful. It's why it's really one of the main reasons that I love the VTubing community so much. Like just like every other community online, we've got our faults, we've got our dramas, but there's something about this space that truly makes me feel so warm inside and so thrilled and happy to be here. Which reminds me, thank you guys so much for your continued support, for showing up, for just being there. I truly appreciate you all so much. I wouldn't have made any of these milestones without you, whether it was the Blue Sky milestone or making Twitch affiliate. And I'm so genuinely grateful that you all are here and helping, I don't know, just making dreams come true. I'm very thankful to all of you. Genuinely speaking, thank you so much. And I can just only hope that I keep on making content that we both enjoy, because I make it for myself and I make it for you too. And that we can continue to just, I guess, you know. Oh, Sentient, thank you for the bits. Thank you for the bits. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. But genuinely, you guys have truly given me something to get up out of bed for. You've made me excited to live again and made me excited to meet people again and to be creative again. And genuinely, it just feels so fucking good. And I'm just happy to be here. So, oh wait, I think I missed some chats. Like sometimes I just pull up YouTube Studio on my phone and start making faces. I know like the first time I got Jackie, I just couldn't stop moving. Milo and I would just be like taking turns to move around, and we'd be like, "This is so crazy! This is so fucking cool." I'm gonna remove this. We'd be like, "This is so amazing! What the fuck are you seeing this?" You know what I'm saying? It's so crazy, man. It's magical as fuck. Yeah, exactly, sentient. It is truly magical as fuck. And thank you again for the bits, my darling. Thank you. I appreciate it. Anytime, you're well worth the effort. Stop it! You're gonna make me cry. I love you too. Congrats on affiliate. Only up from here. Thank you, Senti. Thank you. Truly, only up from here. I can't wait to see where this road takes me. I almost don't want to get a job just so that I can truly devote um all my time and energy into VTubing, but I understand that, that I need a steady source of income so that I can fund my VTubing addiction. I have so many I have so many, I have so many ideas. I've got so many things, exciting things planned, and they all need money. So I need a job to funnel all that money into VTubing. Just gonna take the money and put it there. Of course, I'll pay bills and rent and stuff. But honestly, as soon as VTubing became like a thing for me in my life, immediately I just sectioned off a huge chunk of my check. I was just like, yeah, I need to start this immediately. A lot of people were giving advice that you should get a PNG first because you might not be sure that you would enjoy it, and you might not even enjoy streaming, and you might not enjoy VTubing. But from the very beginning, from the moment, Nish. Thank you for the bits, love. Thank you. Thank you so much for the 100 bits, you guys. Stop. Hype train. Oh, guys. Thank you for the hype train. Stop it. You're gonna make me cry. You can't do this. Can't do this yet. I'm not ready to cry on stream. Job derogatory. Absolutely, bro. Ugh. But yeah, as soon as I got a huge chunk of my paycheck, everything just went into. I immediately started planning, and from the very beginning, I was locked in, fully locked in. I knew from the get go that I wanted to give this my all, as much as I possibly can, because I just loved doing it so much. Even when I was just pre-recording these quote unquote streams and editing them and putting them on YouTube, I was still having so much fun, and I just knew that, okay, this is kind of what I want to do for at least the next 10 years. But thank you guys so much for the bits. I'm tearing up a little bit. This is crazy. I need to thank you. Holy crap. Just thank you guys for being here. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for supporting me and hanging out with me and being my friends and collabing with me and just genuinely being around. I genuinely sentient. Sentient, come on. Thank you so much for the 5 subs. Dude, stop. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Stop it. You're gonna make me cry. Oh my god. You have to know that I'm super soft. I can't handle it. Thank you much for the subs. Guys, if you got a sub, please thank Sentient. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, honestly, that's how I started out. I use a simple PNG and it's perfect for what I need. Small, cute, very expressive and versatile. Exactly. You know, it depends on it really is up to personal preferences. From the very beginning, I knew I wanted to go the live 2D route. Milu immediately wanted to do 3D, and some people are very more than satisfied with PNG. It really just depends on what it is you want. That's the best part about VTubing. It's all about what you want to look like, what you want to project into the world, how you want to be presented. I love it so much, the versatility in this community. I'm genuinely so grateful to be here. Thank you guys for the bits. Thank you so much for the subs. I really am so grateful, and I really do appreciate you all so 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 fucking much. Thank you for being here. I cannot wait to see how far we go, to see how much we can do together. I'm just so excited. I really, 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 really am. Fingers slipped. Oh, shut up. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Thank you. I'm thrilled and honored to know you and for you guys to all be here. I'm very thrilled and I'm very honored. Thank you so much. They keep hitting the slay button. I know. I see someone wants the water show to start. I know, right? I feel it's like it was a targeted attack at my tear ducts. They can't handle all this strain. They're trying so hard, working so hard. Thank you so much for the subs once again, and thank you so much for the bits. Nah, don't thank me. I will thank you as much as I possibly can, and over and over and over and over again if I want. Damn, why am I looking getting inspired and emotional right now? I know, right? This is the beauty of this, you know, to share in all this joy and to be a source of joy or just a source of whether it's entertainment or just a place of peace and rest where people can just come and relax and be happy for a bit. That's all I want. That's all I want. To be this for someone else the way other people were for me. I think that is one of the greatest gifts that I can give. So thank you guys so much for being here, for making it possible, and for making me feel the way I feel right now. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Oh my god, the tears won't stop. Like they keep trying to like pop out and show niggas, but like trying to tell them nah, not right now, nah, you know, we can't really do this, we can't have that, come on, stop it, we still gotta answer a couple more questions. Love and light, exactly. Big arts, big hearts. I love you too, sentient. Love you too. Might as well. It's not like we can see your real face. I mean, yeah, the tissue paper is already in my hand. I'm already dapping up at my fucking eyes. And it's yeah. So let's keep going before I actually fucking cry. Okay, what is the secret about yourself? Oh, I've already answered this one. I don't know. I think I don't really have that many secrets. I don't think so. Um, what takes your breath away? Beautiful women. Honestly, beautiful men too. Beautiful people. I can't like. Sometimes I look at some people and I'm like, wow, holy shit. You know, how do you look like that? I didn't know people could look like that. You know, like hello. How? How do you? You're beautiful. Beautiful people take my breath away. Beautiful places also. There's sometimes I see like pictures or just videos of certain places, even in Nigeria too, and I'm like, ha, I did like this is majestic. This is majestic. You know what I'm saying? Also, a punch to the gut easily takes my breath away. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. If that takes your breath away, then be careful next time you look in the mirror. Oh my god, Rimu, shut it. Actually, can I be honest? Lately, like over the last 1.5 years, like one and a half years, like sometimes I'll look in the mirror and I'll be like, okay. Like that line in the Cardi B song, Money, walking past the mirror. Woo! Damn, I'm fine. And then some days it's the opposite. I walk past the mirror and I'm like, hey, you know. But that's only on really bad days, like when like it's been like, you know, a long ass week. But you more and more nowadays, I'm walking past the mirror and I do a double take and I'm like, okay, actually, she's eating. They're serving, okay. Not to be too fruity, but women, niche. I understand you, and you can never be too fruity. Honestly, like I can't even like lie. If y'all go to my TikTok, shameless plug. But if y'all go to my TikTok and you see my reposts, I'm not even I can't even I can't even hide it. I can't even pretend because it's just gay, 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 gay. It's just pretty girls, hot butch women, hot femme women, hot mask women, hot. It's just women, hot people, hot non-binary people, hot. It's just pretty people are. Oh, you know, I do, I I don't know how to compute with pretty people. They're just with beautiful people. Like it's literally speaking, death can also have that effect. Yeah, exactly, niche. Exactly. Giving. Yeah. It's just nowadays I look in the mirror and I'm like, okay, she's pretty. Okay. She is pretty. There's that natural beauty we were talking about. Didn't even know you had a TikTok. Yeah, I honestly I'm not as active on it as I should be. But that's just because TikTok's algorithm makes me mauled. Like I had to figure that shit out the hard way. Apparently, if you use it just to like post, or if you post from just desktop, you're fucked. Like it just won't show your shit to anybody. You don't interact with like other people's posts like an actual account. And of course I didn't get it to interact with other people's posts. I got it to post my own shit and post my own content, but that's not how it works over there. So be careful, I guess. Relatable, muscular women. I know. Plug yourself, you beautiful. I know what you meant. But that sounds so sus. Thank you. Well, yeah, I've put it in the chat, my TikTok. So it's literally right there. Like it's my reposts are just filled with like either really good singing, right? Because I really admire great singers, or it's hot ladies. It's hot women. It's just women with muscles, women with long pretty hair, women, curvy women, skinny women, tall women, short petite women, just mask women, femmes, but just all sorts, just all sorts of amazing, beautiful creatures that have no right to be that gorgeous, just right there. You know what? Let me stop there. Androgynous people, let me shush. No, speak exactly. Don't stop yourself on my account. I understand you. Well, here, I understand you. I understand. I understand where you're coming from. Hot women? Hot women? And that's the thing. They're all hot. And they're all on TikTok. And they do thirst traps. Yay! Hello? Heaven. It's just so. It's just. My TikTok feed is full of Vi cosplayers. I'm in heaven. There's this really, really, really muscular hot black lady. And she looks so much like. Oh god. I forgot her. The way I'm opening my TikTok right now just to find her. Like, I'm just gonna quickly. I think I reposted it because they were just so hot. You know what I'm saying? They're just so. Anyways, they're I'm very attracted to women. Yeah, yeah, yep. Roll credits. that's that's it. That's the post, guys. That's the thought. That's the post. Of course, I'm bi, right? I'm also attracted to men as well, but lately my sapphic bar has just been out of this world. I've not been able to take my eyes off of pretty people, which is great because you can admire them aesthetically the way I do. Because I realize that my attraction is very different from everybody else's type of attraction, but it doesn't change the fact that looking up at beautiful people is just it's an exercise in its own type of, because you see some men and then you see that he wears a corset and it snatches his waist so fucking good, and he knows what to do with his hair, and it's so fucking fluffy, and he's just so pretty. And then you look at her, and she's tall, and she's got muscles, and she knows how to use them, and she knows how to flex them, and then she shows off her abs, and you're just like, okay, I have to calm down. Oh no, I think I broke my bottle. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. Oh no, I did. Okay, anyways. Don't forget to clean up that drool, Lucy. I got it. I got it. I got that tissue paper right here. Bet I got you. I'm cleaning up the drool right now. I will never. It reminds me of the time when Milu and I were looking at pictures of Marseille Martin, and she had a breakdown. I shit you not. I'm not exaggerating. They had a breakdown over the beauty of Marseille Martin, which understandable. I get it, but like we were both like freaking out over her, and she just straight up started crying and coughing and screaming, and I was like, bro, I understand, but bro, relax. Here's a cup of water, bro, for that thirst. I think it was just a really long week for us that particular time. So I fully understand. I would never ever judge them for that sort of behavior and reaction to a beautiful woman, because that's exactly how it's supposed to be. That's so me when I explain I'm not all the way attracted to women. Exactly. I feel like everybody has like a sliding bar of their attraction for if they're bi, for example, or if they're pan. And for me, it's like I'm like 75%, maybe 85% attracted to women, and then the rest is for the boys. And it's only for certain types of boys too, because of course I like the conventional male form, but I also like when it has pretty frills on it, you know? When they're like they're eating and slaying in different ways that I could not even fathom. I love men in corsets. I really do. I love men in corsets. I love men in skirts. I love men in heels. I love men in this. I love women in these things too. Women always wear these things, but most women wear these things. I love every variety of of beautiful woman and beautiful man, and I guess that's just human. Yeah, that is just human. I'm barking right now. Yeah, real as fuck. Everyone has that one thing that will make them feral. I swear, feral was the best way to describe what was happening to Milu in that part. Like I think they were like 2 seconds from having some sort of, you know, pretty person induced aneurysm. I have no idea. But I understood where they were coming from. And to think for the longest time, I thought I was an ally. Because I had this thing where I was like, oh, I don't want to claim that I'm bi because I'm not sure, because I've never thought about like, what do you call it? I've never thought about like having a family with a woman, but then I'd never thought about having a family with a man either. And I don't know why I never clocked in my brain that I didn't really necessarily want a family, but like the thought of if a pretty girl walked up to me and looked into my eyes and said, "Hey gorgeous, can I have your number?" I would melt into a puddle on the spot and never be able to and I would never reform. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. Like if she leaned in close to your ear and she whispered something like, "Want to get out of here?" Hallelujah. Amen. It just that would fucking break me, bro. I would be destroyed in a matter of seconds. It would literally be that easy. It would be so like that is all it would take. That is all it would take, bro. I would be gone forever. I would do whatever she wanted. I would, yeah. I'd be like, wifey, wifey, would you marry me? Just, okay, okay, and that's coming from someone who doesn't even like want to get married. You know what I'm saying? But I would risk everything. I would. I really, really would. And discovering that about myself was such a surprise, and at the same time not a surprise at all. But I think I've rambled enough about my love of women. We should get on with it. When it comes to women and literally anyone who dresses GNC, I'll be shaking and throwing up on the ground and barking. I know, niche, you're so real for that, because same, the human brain is weird. Needed to take a moment to compose myself. But yeah, that's just how it is, man. If a pretty girl do that, she lean into my ear and whisper to me, I would do whatever she asked, honestly speaking, and I feel like a lot of people can relate, genuinely. But let's answer the last couple of questions. Let's speed run this shit. Okay, have you ever had one of your worst fears happen? No, I don't think so. Thinking about it deeply, no, no, I have not, and I hope that that never happens. I did when I was younger. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Was it really, really bad? I hope it wasn't. Actually, now that I wait, now that I think about it, no, it wasn't. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. No, I think the answer is still no for me, and I'm very grateful that it has been no. I have had one of my worst fears almost happen, but it didn't fully happen. Like it wasn't the full, I guess, repercussions didn't happen. So no. It's more like having something stolen from me from when I was around 10 or 11. Oh, I see. Yeah, when you're younger, your fears are like they're not necessarily, end of the world, type of stuff. But I don't think any of my worst fears has happened, and I'm very grateful. I hope it can continue on like that, because I'm at the age where I'm beginning to truly fear that my worst fears might happen for several reasons, but I hope it never happens. And yeah, and I hope that even if it does, I would be prepared or ready in some way, or at least, even if I'm not ready, because you're never really ready for your worst fears to happen, are you? But that even if it does happen, that I will be able to move on and move past it and keep living, you know? But yeah, the answer for now, the answer is no to that question. To question number 30. All right. I still remember it to this day, but I also know that if I ever bumped into that person again, that would be the only time my morals will go into timeout for an hour. Oh, god damn. Oh, so they took your shit and now it's on site? I mean, I can't really blame you. I'm sorry to hear that though, Reamer. No one, I don't think nobody except billionaires and politicians. No one deserves to have their worst fears happen to them. Yeah. Smoke on sight, because these hands are rated E for everyone. Period. Period. As you should. Defend your shit, man. Okay. But let's keep going. We've got just two more. What would you do if you knew you would not fail? I'm already doing it. I'm already doing it. It's VTubing, man. I putting my whole pussy into this shit. And I'm not about to stop there. And I'm 100% convinced that as long as I keep at it, and as long as I remain consistent, eventually, whether that whether or not it's like 2 months from now, or 2 years from now, or 20 years from now, as long as I keep at it and I do my best, success should eventually find me. So I'm already doing it. What would I do if I knew I would not fail? What I'm doing right now. So I guess that's that answer to that question. If I knew I wouldn't fail, I'd start a game company with close friends and try to make something on the scale of Nintendo. Oh, that's so cool. That's amazing. That's actually really cool. I might aim for higher, but this is right now, this is what I want to do. So no, I think I'll just do what it is I'm doing right now, which is VTubing. Essentially. And are we supposed to be answering these with you? If you want, it's entirely up to like everybody's like prerogative. If you want to answer, of course, please go ahead. And if you don't want to answer, then that's fine too. Frankly speaking, it's all up to you. It is. It's all up to you. All about what you want to do and all about what you want to say and what you want to share. If I knew I wouldn't fail, I would start an animated show. Oh, that is an amazing idea. I especially love your art style, so I think that it would be really, really popular. Lurk, I got you in the background while playing Animal Crossing. Hey, peak afternoon activities. Good for you, Niche. Good for you. Rest up, my love. Enjoy Animal Crossing. I'm sure it'll be fun. But don't worry, we're rounding off pretty soon because I'm getting a little tired and I do need to retreat into my I need to retreat into my haven and get a little bit stronger. In that case, I suppose I should change the stream title and remove the reading later part since it's not going to be happening. Nah. But yeah, let me do that for YouTube as well. Since I'm too tired to keep doing it, but we'll just do that for now. It is midnight for you, so make sure you rest up. Yeah, it's close to midnight. Not quite, but we're getting there. And I do need to do some other stuff, and I want to call my mom as well because she did ring up a little bit during stream. So I would like to call her and talk to her and say hi because it was Sunday. Yeah, she's super, super, super relaxed on Sundays. She also sent me a nice selfie, and I want to compliment her in person. So there's that. But stream just started. Sentient. Hmm? Hmm? Why are you trying to gaslight? I beg you, Dre. Stream just started. But 3 whole hours and 30 minutes? Really? Where have you been? I would love to stay, my darling. But unfortunately, the human and mortal coil which I do inhabit does have a circadian rhythm, which I must adhere to as much as possible. You're such a fucking gremlin, Senti. But I guess that's why I love you. Okay, so one more question. What's the most important lesson you took from a past relationship? Never settle. If they do not worship the ground that you walk on, then they're just not the one, I guess. I'm this kind of person. Listen, I like Hanagram. Okay, see, one of my favorite shows ever. One of my favorites, not my top favorites, was Hannibal NBC. I also enjoyed Good Omens season 1. I love Heartstopper. I really, really enjoyed what do you call it? Reading The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. And then there is also what else was there? What else? I'm trying to think of something, but I don't mean. I was also a big fan of the queer baiting in Merlin, even though it was barely baiting. Those shits were gay. I don't give a fuck. In Merlin, BBC, right? And then there's also Interview with the Vampire by AMC. All of these are my like top favorite shows. What do they all have in common apart from being gay as fuck? There is complete and utter adoration in all of these relationships between the two mains. And I mean complete and utter adoration, essentially. So that's what I want. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of romance, specifically because of this type of romance. And never settle, essentially. If you've got something in mind, if you've got a level of love you're wishing to receive and you're wishing to give, then don't settle for something paltry. Don't settle for some substitute. Just it's better to stay single than to get something that you don't deserve or to get less than you deserve. That's what I learned. I also learned don't stay with them if they tell you that they already had a child from a previous relationship. But y'all didn't hear that from me. Amen. Yep, Senti, absolutely. Period. Amen. Communication can fix the majority of most issues. Everything else is not worth it. And that's on period. That's true. I absolutely. And that's after 9 failed attempts? 9? I think you also learned that maybe don't try 9 times. If they show you who you are, tops 3. Tops 3 attempts. Hello? Never settle for less because there's always someone that's willing to give you more than you're worth. A child? Yeah. A child. A whole ass human being. Yeah. That's why I said I put up with a lot. Just not bigotry. Yeah. Crazy, insane work. Yeah. I know. Holy shit. Yeah, but hey, at least we weren't in the relationship yet, you know? Like I said, nothing hashtag story time. Absolutely not. I feel like it's not really my story to tell. But in relation to me, what I can say is that I it was more like we weren't anything, you know. We didn't put a label on anything. We weren't anything. We just acknowledged, okay, the feelings are there, but we were too long distance for us to actually pursue anything. So, but eventually, after, you know, a couple of months of talking, they let me know, and I was like, oh, thank you for telling me, you know. So that was just the situation, and that was just how it was. And I was like, yeah, that's you know, thank you for telling me. I mean, what? Yeah. What else am I supposed to say? That's essentially what happened and how it worked. I don't know. Felt the It reminded me of Megan Thee Stallion's Instagram live, bro. Speaking of Megan Thee Stallion, I think she's one of my biggest celebrity crushes at this point in time. Definitely her. Followed by so many other women. And now I'm just thinking about that particular video of her twerking in those booty shorts. I don't know if y'all saw that one, but she was in a gray crop top and she was also in gray matching booty shorts, and she was with her big hair. It looked like she had just woken up a couple of hours ago, like it was morning. She didn't have any makeup on, and she was just feeling herself. Oh, you mean that 7-hour video? Yeah, I don't know why it was that long. Like, everybody kept talking about how it was just like a couple of seconds, but I could have sworn it was 7 hours long. Reviving from the grave to say, girl, same. I love Megan. I need her so bad. I know, right? I just love her so much. My brain is not working properly because I keep remembering. Anyway, Megan Thee Stallion, if you ever see this, I love you. I love you so much. Thank you for existing. Thank you for existing. Watashi wa star. Such a fucking okay. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm gonna do the guys. Let's just pretend like nothing ever happened. Okay, but we've come to the end of this very short Q&A session that we did for the sake of celebrating reaching Twitch affiliate. Thank you so much to everybody who came along and hung out with me. Thank you to everybody who gave bits. Thank you, Sentient. Thank you, Niche. Thank you. Thank you for the subs as well, Sentient. Very short indeed. Stream started like 10 minutes ago. Guys. Guys, it's been almost 4 hours. That's actually crazy. Because like in the beginning, when I started streaming, I was like, when I started making videos in general, I couldn't go more than like an hour, 30 minutes, tops 2 hours. Right? And I was like, oh my god, how am I gonna like making it to like 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hour streams like all these big streamers are doing. But I guess it's just something that your tolerance increases with time. That's what I'm saying. Guys, come on. I would love to do more, but I'm getting tired, and I feel a headache coming on, and I'm trying to combat it with some good food. Maybe, right? Maybe in a couple of hours, like if I eat and I'm still awake by like 11 p.m. my time, then I could hop online again and do the reading stream, and I'll let y'all know via Bisky. But I don't think that is exactly what I'm not sure that's what happened. I'm not really sure. Just picture most of us clinging to your leg as much as we can, and that's what's happening right now. Oh, stop it! You're gonna remind me of my nieces and nephews. That's so cute. It's such a cute picture you've put into my head. Stop it. Stop it. You can't do that. You can't manipulate me like that. It's not gonna work. Just know I love you all so dearly. Thank you so much for coming out with me this evening. For some of you, this afternoon. For some of you, and this night. For some of you, and for me as well. I can't help it if I'm clever. That's right. Got a wonderfully clever brain up there. But I'm afraid that despite my my godhood and the fact that I'm a primordial deity, right now I exist in the body of a human, and this human is hungry and might have a headache and kind of needs to go pee because they forgot to do that earlier. So thank you so much for coming out, guys. I think we can rate out food. Good food. That's right, Santi. Some good soul food. Thank you for the stream. What if I offered you Philly cheesesteak? I mean, as long as you can teleport it directly into my mouth, maybe I could consider it. But until then, I'm afraid we're just going to have to Philly cheesesteak mentioned. Now I'm hungry. And that's so real of you. Let me just get rid of this and then we'll move to our just chatting for now. Yee, so comfy. You guys are such dorks. I love y'all. Alright, let's see who's online and then let's raid in. Let's raid in. Because you guys seem to have a lot of energy and I didn't want to leave y'all hanging. Niche needs someone on the background while they play some Animal Crossing, and Senti and Rimu are just giving very much gremlin energy right now. So let's find somebody to raid. The community always reflects the streamer. Hey, I will proudly claim dork anytime. Any fucking time. I will happily claim a dork. Like, I'm dork. Yeah, I'm a dork. I'm a happy dork. I'm a dork who's happy to be a dork. Forever and ever and ever and ever. happily. All right. Let's see. Ooh, Anarchy and Kishin are both online right now. Ooh. I wonder if. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness. Um, let's see how long they've each been streaming so that we can estimate who's probably gonna be online for longer. So it seems Kishin has been streaming for 2 hours, and Anarchy's been streaming for 2 hours as well. Okay, they've definitely made this harder for me. Okay, I guess we'll rate in Anarchy because Anarchy is the muse of cosplay. I think I know her in a former life. Oh, the goats. Yeah, I know, right? There really are both excellent picks. You guys are so right. Anarchy would be a good pick, ne? All right, taking Rex. I do have someone in mind to recommend. Oh, Remo, of course. Please recommend them if you'd like to. Otherwise, we just raid Anarchy because they're playing Pokemon right now. Infinity Nikki Dailies. I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. Originally, I was gonna recommend the artist Patui, but then you said Anarchy. Fully, I think I'm gonna check out Anarchy. I said Anarchy Patui myself, just because you suggested them. Just because I'm always looking for great new VTubers to support. All right then, we've decided Anarchy it is. Let's rate in. Oh wait, before I do that, I forgot this. Fuck. Let's quickly come in here. Yeah, I do have a raid message. That's what I forgot. Thanks for reminding me. Here it is. Yeah, came up with it myself. LML. All right, so that's just copy that and then put that in year, and then start with the cackle. I'm so dumb. We're so dumb. All right then, let's get back to stream manager and start raid. Okay, in the meantime,
Thursday is Game Awards.
There
Stream
they are.
won't be like Streamer Awards. We'll actually just do a normal stream.
There.
It should be better. It should be a better situation. But oh, you're fucking kidding me. Thank you for the raid. I'm about to raid out.
Really?
I'm so sorry.
That's crazy.
We were playing Infinity Nikki. I am literally about to end the stream because I need to take a nap.
That's so crazy.
Sorry. What were you up to, Lucifer?
It was between you and Kishin.
Anything, Lucifer. What were you up to? What were you doing? Thank you for raiding. Thank you for following. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You and Keishan. Oh my God. You know what? Fine. Then let's raid Keishan. That's great. That's great. So it works. We'll give him more followers. More viewers. We'll raid Keishan.
Oh, that's funny.
Just chatting with chat. Nice. We were just playing this, and I realized I'm too sleepy, so I need to go to bed. But let's raid Keishan then.
All right then.
That makes it fair. Anyway, I'll be streaming weekdays after.